Happy whatever damn day it is, Friday, I guess. I'm gonna wait for folks to get in here, and then we're gonna run through a few things. Okay. Welcome. Good morning, folks. If you're in my Discord, I said that I was not going to go live today, and I really didn't want to go live today, but here I am. So good morning, everybody. Give me just a second. So yeah, no, I'm fine. And I didn't, like I said, I really didn't want to be live today. But this is kind of what sometimes happens, right? With me is that I can say that I'm not going to be live, and then I'm good, Cam. But then what will happen is that I'll see something, I will get maybe really irritated about something or concerned about something, and then the next thing you know, I am live because I feel like it's something that we really should talk about and that we really have to like have a conversation about. And so that is what happened to me this morning. So I am live. I will be getting everybody the email out today from last night and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, and then I'm gonna hit the road and try to go have a couple of days with the kids. Good morning, Witch. I know I'm not supposed to be here. And yeah, so we'll talk about that too in just a second. I'm trying to get myself logged in here real quick so that I can download this. Yeah, I've already done this. So this is what I would like. What I'm trying to do right now is make sure that my recording is ready from last night, and it is. Awesome. Great. Okay. All right. Good morning, Desi. Good morning, Sean. Glad to see everybody this morning. I know that my energy is a little weird. Don't worry about it. Just let it be what it will be, because it's going to be what it will be. I'm not one of those people that fake the funk very well, right? So, what's up, Toop? No worries. Happy birthday to you. I hope you had a great celebration and things were good. Okay, so I want to just kind of give a little bit of a not a warning, but I do want to give you a little bit of advisement. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of advisement today. So if you are someone that has come here to troll or say dumb shit, I don't recommend it today. I don't recommend it today. It's just not the day for it. I need to have a real conversation with people who actually give a fuck about our country. So if that is not you, if you think this is playtime, if you think this shit is funny, if you are just loyal to the ridiculous person that is in office, this is not for you. I suggest you just take yourself on somewhere else, right? Um, this is literally like we need to have a real conversation about this country, about the people in this administration, the people that are in Congress, the public at large. We just really need to have a reality check, and sometimes I think that even if we're aware of everything that's going on, I think sometimes that we don't sit with the real impact about things, right? And I I was sitting on the couch. I was like, oh, I'm just going to veg this morning, wait for the kiddos to wake up, and then we'll do whatever. Good morning, Sharon. And then I was just scrolling. Tell you more of my global interest and expertise here on TikTok. Well, Moon Goon, come tell me yours. Why don't you join the panel? I bet you won't, though. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. But come on, big boy. Let's go. Goon. Hey, Carrie. Good morning. Good morning, Sharon, if I didn't say hi to you. Hey, everybody. Glad to see you all this morning. Moon Goon, you coming or not? Just let me know. Yeah, no. Did you find your your courage. Well, come on. Shit, you know you have your privacy settings that I can't bring you up. So there you go. Great. Let's talk. All right. So good morning, Moongoon. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So what exactly is it about my global expertise or my commentary that you have found to be inaccurate?
Well, you're sitting here basically condemning the actions of the president for his.
Well, let's stop right there. Can you share with me?
intervention.
Hold on, Moongoon. Can you share with me this morning what I said about the president of the United States?
He was, I can't remember the word you said. It was incompetent, I believe. I believe you said that.
So when did that mention regime change?
So regime change wasn't up to the United States.
No, I ask you when I mentioned regime change. I asked you when did I? You did. You just said I was criticizing him.
Mentioned the regime.
Okay, so regime. So tell me when I mentioned regime. Tell me when I mentioned global anything this morning.
Well, you want to sit here and you said time for a reality check?
I did, but this is the question. When did I say anything about global anything?
If you're talking about a reality
when did
check,
I say anything about? Did I say a word about anything global this morning?
Doesn't matter. Everything affects.
It does. It does matter. It does matter. It does matter. It does matter. Because you came in here just running your chops when you weren't even being accurate to what I spoke about. You just want to come in here and talk about Trump.
I don't give a shit about Trump.
Well, he's the one you're bringing up.
Because what he's doing is right. You brought him up.
Yeah, I brought him up because he's the president of the United States. Exactly. And the reason that I brought him up, and let me be clear about what I said. What I said is if you came in here, if you're not somebody that actually gives a fuck about the country, if you support what is happening in this administration, then today's not the day for fuckery. That's what I said. So that's not actually talking about him. That's actually talking about people like you.
I support what this administration.
I don't care. Then leave. And let me tell you why I don't care. This administration is violating the Constitution, violating international law, and has no fucking clue what it's doing, which is why Iran is holding all of the cards and it is in a better position today than they were 6 weeks ago.
How? Okay, so in order to violate international law, let's talk about law first. In order for a law to be in good standing, there has to be an enforcement measure of said law. Who enforces international law?
Take it out. So no, that's not what we're doing. So let me just be clear. Did we sign the Geneva Convention or not? And before we even talk about international law, can we talk about the War Crimes Act of 1996?
Sure.
That's our fucking law, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, great. So that is the law that he would be violating.
Awesome. Who enforces that law?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. The court system is who enforces that law. The court system. That's who enforces that law. So here's what happens. So here's what happens.
I'm asking who.
So here is what happens when somebody. Don't fucking interrupt me. I don't give a shit what you're asking. I'm going to answer it the way I want to. And because you won't shut the fuck up, bro. If you want me to answer the question, shut the fuck up.
Very simple question. Who
enforces international law? Let me ask you a question. If someone breaks the law and they don't get caught, are they still a criminal?
Yes. No, because they're not.
Bullshit. Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Yeah, see, that's the problem between you and me, right? You think that it only matters if you get caught and if you're prosecuted, right? But a criminal is a criminal.
And charged.
So you have to be charged before you get prosecuted. Right. So if I said prosecuted, that means you were charged. Right? Right. Okay. Right. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who prosecutes what. The bottom line is if the law exists and you violate the law, it does not matter who enforces it. It matters that you broke it because the law exists.
Because the law exists.
Exactly. So if you go and you steal something, then you are a criminal, whether you get caught or not.
That's up for debate.
No, it's not up for debate. That's the way the law works.
No, because it would be, you would have to prove that I did steal something.
So no. That is only if I need to adjudicate you in a court of law. If you break the law, you broke the law. You're still a criminal. Just the world doesn't know. Just the world doesn't know. Just the world doesn't know. You're still a criminal. Jesus knows you're a criminal. God knows you're a criminal. You know you're a criminal. You know you're a criminal. You know you're a criminal. Whether the whole world knows or not, your ass is still a criminal.
No, because you weren't found guilty.
Bro, you think that, so this is the difference between you and I. This is the difference between you and I. Yes, you are confusing legality, right, with guilty or innocent. That's what you're confusing. So listen, just because something is legal does not make it moral.
Okay. Let's say somebody's charged with a crime they don't commit. They were prosecuted and jailed, and they were found guilty. Does that make them a criminal?
Yes, by law it does.
Yes, it does.
By law it does. By law it does, but not in actuality. See, there's the difference between you and I. Right. So this is the title of this law is reality check. So we're going to talk about what's real and what isn't. So here it is. In real life, the person who does not commit the crime, but is arrested, charged, convicted, and jailed, they are still innocent in reality, but legally they're a criminal. Now, the person who violates the law is never caught, is never charged, is never prosecuted, is never convicted, is legally innocent, and in reality, a fucking criminal.
Reality is a bad term to use.
I don't care what you think of my terms. I don't care what you think of my terms. I do not care what you think of my terms. Do you have another point that you would like to make?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Make it.
Society is the one who essentially votes, comes up with, and puts these laws in place.
No, incorrect.
They're so-called quote-unquote.
Society does not vote and make these laws happen. No, they don't. Society, tell me how what's the last law you got to vote on? Because I think you're describing a socialist society, which we don't have.
We vote on people too.
Yeah, but you said I vote on the law, but I don't. You said we vote on the law, but we don't.
In our government to create laws within our
You said we vote on the laws, but we don't.
Now you're just getting into specifics.
Yeah, I mean, dear God, why would I ever want to be talking about specifics? Why would I want to talk about specifics? Why would I want to talk about specifics? Why would I ever want to talk about specifics?
Because I'm going to show you how you're stupid.
Holy hell, because specifics matter. Imagine that.
No, specifics don't matter when in terms of...
Well, hellfire. Yeah, they do.
Law.
Yeah, they do.
Society dictates law.
Let me just tell you something, sweetie. Specifics matter a whole hell of a lot when we're talking about the law.
My point was society...
I know your point, but you're wrong.
Do they or do they not? Society dictates law.
No.
No, you're wrong. Society votes for individuals to represent them.
You can say whatever you would like, but I'm not wrong. Society does not dictate law.
You lady.
Yeah, society doesn't dictate law, bro.
Yes, they do, bro.
No, they don't. Tell me the last time. Tell me the last time you voted on it. Tell me the last time you voted on a law in Congress. Tell me the last time. Tell me the last time you dictated a law. When's the last time you wrote a bill? When is the last time you wrote a bill? When is the last time you wrote a bill? And then you went in Congress and you voted on that bill.
Is that congressman part of society or not part of society?
Is the Congress all of society? No, they are not. Is Congress society? No, it's not.
He's a part of.
Society does not dictate law. Lobbyists dictate law. Lobbyists and corporations dictate laws. Super PACs dictate laws.
You are absolutely
accurate. I am absolutely accurate. I am absolutely ignorant.
They influence laws. They don't dictate.
No, they dictate them. Have you ever heard of an organization named ALEC? Do you know the organization called ALEC? ALEC.
No.
Well, they literally write the damn laws that your Congress people take to the floor. Go look them up. It's called the American Legislative Education Council. Go look it up. I know who writes the laws.
Based on what? How do they write the laws?
They literally write them.
Yeah, what's the writing process?
They take their fingers, they put them on the keys, and then they write them. And your members of Congress literally are part, and your members of Congress are literally part of that organization, and the corporations finance them. And the corporations are part of, here, let me show you. Let me just hold on. I'm going to show you. Since you came to learn today, I'm going to show you.
Are they given parameters?
No, they are not. No, they are not. No, they are not. They literally, because they are a think tank, they come up with, so let me just show you. Since you don't know, allow me to teach. Since you don't know, let me allow me to teach. Since you don't know and I do. Okay? Since you don't know and I do, allow me to teach. I'm happy to help. I'm here to be of assistance to you. So this is ALEC, Empowering States, Shaping America's Future. Now, what's cool about this is you can actually go and you can find all of the state policy that they are writing for your state. You can find out. So, let me finish. I'm going to finish. So you just hush for a moment. Thank you. Appreciate that. Love that very much. Yeah, I know it's going to be hard, but just do it. So this is the council. It's the largest, they say nonpartisan, but that's not true. Voluntary membership organization of your state legislators. And look at principles of limited government, free markets, and federalism. That is not nonpartisan. Okay. Listen to this. They represent more than 60 million Americans and provide jobs to more than 30 million people in the United States. I'm going to finish fucking talking. Don't interrupt me again. It's rude. Got it. Well, when you decide you want to listen, you can come back. Other than that, I'll educate everybody else in the room. Ain't nobody wasting time on you. So again, here's what happens. This is the model policy library. They take their laws because they literally build them for you, right? They write the laws. There are members of Congress that have been caught having the exact law written by ALEC on the floor, and they forgot to take the ALEC letterhead off of it. This is the people. So here is the leadership of ALEC. You see them? She's from the Florida House of Representatives. This is the Arkansas Senate. This is the Oklahoma Senate. This is Michigan. This is West Virginia. This is Kansas, Florida again, Utah, Indiana, Texas, Georgia, Kansas, Mississippi, Texas, Wyoming, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Arizona, New York. You see that? These are the board scholars. And then here's the Private Enterprise Advisory Council. You see that? These folks are the folks. This is the American Bail Coalition. You want to guess what kind of bills they write? These are the life insurance company people. You want to guess what kind of bills they help write? Right? This is the immediate post. American Bankers Association, State Farm Insurance, right? Consumers Research, United Parcel Service, Pharma. Should I say Pharma? Oh my God, look, it's the Coke companies. It's the fucking Coke companies. Imagine that. Imagine. Now, did you all know that there were lots and lots of private corporations that were funding ALEC? And when they were exposed, many of them quit, like Victoria's Secret, like Walmart, like a whole bunch of them, right? So then these are the state chairs. Look at your reps. These are all your state chairs. Look at that. These are all of your Congress people and your state legislators that are actually chairs of this organization. Isn't that something, folks? Isn't that something? And then when you go over here, you can find all kind of stuff. So they've got alumni. Look at that. Doug Collins, the current Secretary of Veterans Affairs. alumni, Marco Rubio, alumni, Mike Dunleavy, Brian Kemp, Kelly Armstrong. Here's all your U.S. Senate members. Ain't that some shit, Moon? Yeah, I am being condescending because Moon was being an asshole. So I'm talking in this tone specifically for Moon's ass because he's still sitting up here listening. So that's why I sound the way I sound. Got it? So, and by the way, I don't ever need to be tone policed. Ever. Ever. Just to be clear. So here's all your Congress people that are alumni. You can actually go to their site. Well, here's all their meetings that they have. So this is their annual meeting coming up in July. But you can go to policy and go to issues. Here's agriculture. Here's broadband. Here's business. Here's comms, criminal justice. Here's cronyism. Here's economic development, education. Listen, when you go in here, if you go to energy, you can go in here and literally they will give you their publications and their proposed legislation. Watch this. I'm going to show you all something. Companies that back ALEC. Who still funds ALEC? So if you're looking at, and this is from Common Cause, right? And this is from Exposed and Greenpeace. So under energy and fossil fuels, Koch Industry, Chevron, Duke Energy, American Electric Power, Dominion Power. Hold on, let me share this with this, folks. Let's see, under pharmaceuticals and health, Pfizer, Bayer, GlaxoSmithKline, Eli Lilly, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, transportation and logistics. Oh, what do you know? It's FedEx and UPS and Norfolk Southern and Transurban and Tech and Telecom. Guess what? It's AT&T and CenturyLink and let me see, Charter Communications and Oracle. Oh, look at that. And eBay. You see that? These are the people funding and support structure. I know what I'm talking about, folks. When you tell me that society writes our laws, you are delusional. And that is why this live is entitled, "It is Time for a Reality Check." That is why this live is entitled, "It is Time for a Reality Check." Because we have gotten to this place where people do not understand that the folks that you have elected and the people that are sitting in office are absolutely selling their souls to corporations and foreign lobbyists. And we are the people that are hurting behind all of this bullshit. We are the people that are hurting behind all of this bullshit. I'm going to show you a video. Somebody, so let me tell, it's Alec. Sorry, you guys. It's Alec. Heidi said, well, I'll be dipped in buttermilk. Oh. So let me just be clear. In an ideal world, yes, we elect people to represent us, and they do what we would like them to do. But we know that that's not the case. If the people that we elect or that we have elected up until this point were actually doing what the majority of the country wanted us to do, guess what, folks? We would not be in war with Iran. Congress would have come back early from the 2-week break that they were on, and they would have used their congressional powers to stop the president of the United States from sending our folks into harm's way with a war that they never approved. If the people that we had elected were truly doing what the people desire in this country, we would have a different healthcare system entirely at this point. We absolutely would. If people that we elect up until this point were doing what we wanted, what the people wanted. Nope, Vin Porter, voting is not useless. Voting is not useless. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Okay? All right? If you notice my verbiage, because I do believe, unlike Moon, that words do matter, right? So I said the people that we have elected up until this point. And I want you to think about lobbying and foreign lobbying and those types of things and corporate corruption. I want you to think of those things like you would an illness. I want you to think of those things like you would cancer. Okay? So when we look at the treatment process for cancer, right? When you administer the chemo, right? Does it kill all the bad cells at the same time? Nope, it doesn't. And a lot of times in terms of cancer, it actually will take out the good cells along with the bad, correct? Does chemo take out the good cells along with the bad? And that's why people get tired and people get sick and people get whatever? Right. So if you attack cancer with chemo, you will inevitably hurt the good with the bad. So when people talk about burning the system down as it exists today, you will absolutely take out the good folks along with the bad. You will absolutely take out the good along with the bad. And there are decent, good members in Congress. They're just not the majority right now. They are not the majority right now. So we have to be smart and we have to understand that we did not get where we are overnight. And we will not fix where we are overnight. I get very, very irritated when folks give this pie in the sky, burn the system down, we need a revolution, and yet there's not a single idea of how you rebuild or what you will be left with if you burn everything down. No, it doesn't have to, Big D. It doesn't have to take 100 years to fix where we are. It doesn't have to, but it has people stopping this bullshit about, oh, it's the left and the right and it's Democrats and liberals and I'm so sick of that bullshit. I am so tired of it. Can we simply talk about policy and people? Can we simply talk about what is best for the majority of the people in this country? And can you stop leading with your pocketbook? Right? Can you stop thinking only about your emotions, your religion, your morality, your the whatever? Think outside yourself because you are not the only person that matters. Ray J, I said this during the Biden administration. How about that? I said this during the Biden administration. Said it during the Obama administration. I said it when I voted for George Bush. Do you want to know why? Because I don't give a fuck about who's in office. I give a shit about the reality of the American people. Try that on for size. Try that on for size. Mike Brown, term limits have nothing to do with it. The only people that we need to be talking about term limits on are federal judges and the Supreme Court. The people that need term limits are federal judges and the Supreme Court. When it comes to Congress, we are their term limits. Listen to me, folks. When it comes to Congress, we are the term limits. Vote them the fuck out. But the reality is, when you live in a state like Tennessee and in 2022, only 29% of the damn state came out to vote, that's why your people are still there, because you're sitting the fucking home. Don't talk to me about term limits. 80 million people didn't even vote in the last presidential election. So what happens if you have term limits and then people don't vote? Then really shitty people get in. It doesn't matter. I can have a term limit that gets a really good person out. And if I don't have a better person for them, I'm fucked. Simply because of a term limit. Because the American people are too lazy to do their damn job. And do you want to, let me just say this. Let me be fair for a moment, because I say this all the time. It is not just, and there are people that are lazy and aren't engaged. There are also people that are working 2 or 3 jobs because the systems that we have in place don't give them the bandwidth to be able to do anything else. I don't expect the single mom working 2 jobs trying to figure out how to pay for medication and school supplies to be able to know who the fuck ALEC is, or the Federalist Society, or the Heritage Foundation. I don't expect that mom to know who Leo Leonard is, who Kevin Roberts is. Derek, I feel like it's not about the party. When people talk about third parties, it's really not about the parties. We didn't listen. Donald Trump did not win the 2024 election because of the people that voted third party. Donald Trump won the 2024 election because of the 80 million people that didn't vote at all. That's why he won. Because I want you to understand, more people didn't even participate in the process than voted for him or that voted for Kamala. If 80 million plus people didn't vote at all and 77 million people voted for him, guess what? Those 80 million people are more than 77. If only 75 million people voted for her and 80 million people didn't vote, well, that's more than voted for her. It's because of the people. And let me just give you a little clue. It is not just 80 million people. It is 80 million people that are actually registered to vote. That's the 80 million that are actually registered to vote. Tim, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a Democrat. When you say it has not mattered when you are a Democrat, discontinued, take us to the same. I'm not following what you're trying to say. What are you trying to say, Tim? I'm trying to understand your comment. Ooh, that's loud.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was with.
That's okay. Tell me what you're trying to say.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Other than and I'm going to give you this analogy that our votes don't count. And the reason I say that is this. It's like going to a horse race track and placing your bet. You didn't bring a horse to the race. And so what you've got to choose from to vote for has been pre-selected for us, unfortunately. I don't know how you stop that, but from my perspective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but okay, so let me share with you. So here's part of the thing. So I know of people right now that are running for office and the DNC did not select them, right? There were 4 or 5 people that showed up and the DNC chose one of those people. But those other people have decided to still vote, to still run for office. So it is up to the people in that district, right, to become involved on the local list of levels, to find out exactly who is running and who is not. And this is where we have to, this is in my humble opinion, and this is why I said it's going to be a longer term process, because we didn't get here overnight, okay? Right. So the most important thing that we can focus on are primaries, because that's not the final candidate. That's just the person selected for the primaries.
Right.
So if you live in an area, don't just vote for whoever has the most money or whoever's ads you've seen the most. Go to their town halls. They need to be, in my opinion, everybody that is running in a primary race should be holding town halls virtually so that everybody can hear what they have to say. because people can log on to social media. People can log on to the internet if they can't come to your in-person meeting, right? So in our primaries, if everybody who is running in a primary hosts regular online events and uses the power of social media to get those things out, right? Then we can start to make change. The other thing that has to happen is we have to get people in Congress right now. And I mean this with every fiber of my being, that are willing to put legislation in place that codifies the reversal of Citizens United. Until, like, we have to, because here's the thing, Citizens United was a court case, right? So there's not going to be a perfect court case that goes before the Supreme Court that gets us to overturn it, right? So what we have to do is we have to get members of Congress that are willing to put together legislation that codifies into law the things that overturn the ruling for Citizens United. And the premise of Citizens United, according to the Supreme Court, was that corporations have the same rights as people, and that their money is their First Amendment speech. Right. Like, what the hell? Absolutely not.
Unfortunately, they have created the corporations, and I don't know when it became like it is, but unfortunately, a corporation can live forever. So the ideas of that person, whoever started that corporation, say like Walmart. Now, I'm not saying the original guy that owned Walmart thinks that way, but once it got to where it's at, somebody decided to start making the decisions they did. Mm-hmm. Now it is self-ran, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or government. And so
good morning,
these
Kelly.
corporations that people can die, and it lives on forever.
Mm-hmm.
It can, and most of us are not taught any of this at school. So I'd love to believe what you're saying could happen. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, revision or history has shown that we continue to go down the road that we haven't been. In my lifetime, I don't know how old you are. I'm almost 60 years old.
Yeah, so I'm literally 6 years behind you.
Okay, so in my lifetime, and I use this just for an example, we used to be able to ride around in cars without seatbelts on. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not here to debate that seatbelts are good or bad. It's not about that. It's about the brainwashing that we receive in believing something. Now, you can educate somebody, and they can, voluntarily wear that seatbelt. But once you make it a law, which was a test to see how far our government can keep taking away our rights, and I'm kind of getting off track here. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I get you.
That's that slow bleed that you're talking about. That's that incremental taking away of rights. And we're all focused. You are on the right track. I'm not saying that you're not. I just don't know how we stop what's going on. I understand what you're saying about the local elections and that way, but you still got the corporations doing what you have pointed out. Mm-hmm. The other saw earlier.
Right. And so here's my thing. So how do you get to corporations? How do you get the attention of corporations?
Well, unfortunately, you're never going to do that because they're embedded with government.
Nope. I disagree. I disagree.
Well, can I give you a
sure. Go ahead.
I come from a little bitty town of 250 people, and everybody around there is about that same amount, 400-ish or so. A major hog corporation about 30 years ago came in and bought up thousands of acres, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the plant part of it, even though they're the same company, one's one entity and one's another entity. Mm-hmm. Well, they took out the hog farmers back in the day, them and other major hog corporations. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, the plant part of it, and this is not a racist thing, I'm just going to tell it like it is. the plant would go down into Texas and get 3 school bus loads a week of Mexicans to bring up to work in the plant. Well, the government was paying that company $3 a quarter an hour for every new hire. Okay, and you can say, well, you don't have enough people in the area, and it was an economic stimulus thing for that area, supposedly, is what we were told. Plus, the government was giving out a $1,500 sign-on bonus. So that company, these people would come and work for, let's say, the length of that money would only last for about 3 months, about 90 days. That $3 and a quarter an hour. So I'm sorry if I jump around. So anyway, that $3 and a quarter an hour, if you had a local business, the normal wage is $5 or $6 an hour. They're paying close to 10. So you're affecting all the other businesses, those small businesses and everybody. And so here's where I'm going to this. The reason I'm jumbling around is because, the race factor. And so when the government was coming to do a check for illegal immigrants, that company would get on the horn and say, if you're an illegal immigrant, you better get out of here now. And I'm not mad at the immigrants for coming here. They're coming here to make money. I'm mad at the companies and the corporations that were using them to help run out all the hog people and some of the other small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So this company was getting $3 and a quarter an hour. So you figure the amount of money they were saving or making off of the government just from hiring people at the $3 and a quarter an hour.
Right.
And then the farms part of it, here's the other part of it. Now, the plant part doesn't file bankruptcy, but 5 years into running, the farms part of it files bankruptcy. I think before they sold out, I'm not sure if they sold my time there I know they filed bankruptcy once, maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
And so my point to it is I'm just a little small community. Yeah.
He's just gonna back up till one of those come out.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I had somebody talk to you. I drive a semi.
That's okay.
When you're in a small area like I live in, that type of thing stands out.
Of course
you
it
don't
does.
Notice that in big cities and the same thing that's being done all over our country to affect change.
Right.
Now, back to what you were saying about voting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you go back to my time period of growing up, and everybody was related. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody talked amongst each other. Okay? So
Mm-hmm.
now, education, you tell people to go off to college. Well, you can only have so many doctors, lawyers, and teachers before you got to move away to use your degree. So now you destroy the family units. Now you bring in foreigners. Now we're back to my seatbelt law, who will never question the things you're questioning or that I'm questioning.
So
and my grandkids will not either. They'll go along with these slow boiling laws and rules that a lot of them, from what I understand, are unconstitutional.
okay. So if we set,
That was my point. Sorry about that.
no, you're okay. So listen, so that's a lot of different issues that have come together into one scenario. So if you separate them and go back to the core of the issue was a company came in and bought a bunch of land for a corporation. And I'm pretty sure that that company went to your state and then your local municipality and they asked, no, he literally said he's not mad at the immigrants. Y'all need to listen. He literally said he's mad at the corporation. He literally said that very thing. So I need y'all to listen and don't put words in this man's mouth. Okay? Because that ain't what he said. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, Sarah. All right. Now listen. Yeah, I need y'all to really listen. Jesus. Okay. So here's the thing. I would bet money that that corporation got huge tax breaks from the state and from the local municipality with the promise of creating jobs. But then instead of creating those jobs, they went somewhere else and they brought in migrant workers because they could pay them at a lower rate. So now this is where the voting actually matters on a local
They
and
actually
state
didn't
level.
I'm sorry to cut you off. They actually didn't pay them at a lower rate. They
Mhm.
actually paid them more than what the local businesses could afford to pay people.
Yep.
So they on purposely designed that company into a low economic area that did not have, of which they knew this when they built the company.
Yeah.
They knew that area could not support that kind of
Business, that kind of operation.
business, right?
Yeah.
As far as people there working.
Yes. So let me share with you. This is how we get our local municipalities and our state legislators to handle issues like this. Okay. So this is because whenever these things come up, and this is part of the problem, is they might put a little public notice in your newspaper and that's it, but people don't know exactly what's happening when it's happening, right? So what we have to do is we have to begin to elect people into office that will go about notifying the public. So if something like that is happening, my personal opinion is every citizen needs to be notified by mail. There needs to be a television ad. There needs to be something posted on the website. Hold on, let me finish and all of that. But then here's what has to happen is your state and your local municipalities need to put in policy. So here would have been the agreement, and I'm just going to give you round numbers because I don't know anything about this company. But had I been part of the decision-making team, and these people said, okay, this is what the jobs are going to pay. This is how much we have, blah, 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 whatever. And we're going to need to bring in workers from somewhere else. Then there should have been a policy in place that said only X% of your workers can be migrant workers from outside of the local area, right? And so that would have prevented them from being able to replace all workers from people that are migrant workers. There can also be kickbacks that go, not kickbacks, that's a bad word to use, but there can also be reinvestment into the local area, whether those are for nonprofits in the area, whether those are for like a Boys and Girls Club, whether those are for like a whatever, right? And so
they had some of that,
but the problem is they didn't enforce it. So here's what you got to do. It's got to actually be a policy that has a solution to prevent the problem, and then an enforcement mechanism. And I would encourage for that enforcement mechanism to have a town or a population mechanism to it, so that it's not just on your state or your local municipality or your state government. I would like to see enforcement mechanisms on corporations that at least the process for it can be kicked off by the citizens in the local area, right? So it's not we're not just relying on people in suits who are getting campaign donations from whatever.
Can I add to that right here?
Sure.
Because this is such a small community,
Mm-hmm.
I know the people that help sell us out.
Yeah.
Okay. Personally, I know them.
I know.
I know. Now, did they foresee where this would go? No. That they're I won't call us dumb, but
I'm from a small town.
When you're not educated, and and I'm not either. I'm learning. So
yeah.
But the land that got sold,
mm-hmm.
okay, one or two guys were local farmers.
Yeah.
They were not realtors, but they became realtors.
Yeah.
They became very wealthy, along with people that where the plant sits, and
yeah,
there were some local people that they knew where to go to infiltrate the community.
100%. Yep.
And so now the people who are empowered at our local level are bought off, so to speak.
I know.
Without actually coming out and saying, hey, if you vote for this, I'm going to hand you X number of dollars.
100%. I get it. They do it in small towns a lot. And oftentimes the corporations or the factories or the industries that they put there are bad for the people's health. Right. Yeah. I know. And so this is why I'm saying it has to be a multi-pronged approach and solution, and penalties for those things. And so this is I come from Northeast Tennessee, If you're a NASCAR fan, you might know where I'm from. I'm from Bristol.
Yep. When I drive semi, so I come through there.
Okay, so people only know where I'm from typically if they are NASCAR fans or if they're geography buffs, because the town is split in half. It's Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia. And we had the same thing happen where I'm from. And that's why we have a literal, when I say this, you guys, I need you to hear me. We have a literal, legal, state created medical monopoly, and our elected officials gave them antitrust immunity on a state and federal level. Like it's crazy. But here's the thing: they do know who to go to, and they do know who to get to do whatever. And this is why I said there has to be something put into, whether it's the charter of your town, whether if your town is a corporation or whatever, because a lot of towns are, there has to be something that is put into those things to protect the people, so that the people can have a say about what comes into the region and what doesn't. And the reason why people will sell us out is because the state isn't investing and allocating dollars into that region, and people are hurting, right? So this is part of the issue, is that people are hurting, small towns, rural communities, and inner cities. So it is a complex problem. But what I am saying is that there are possibilities to create solutions. And so it's just going to take some work. And like I said, I think
you're not wrong. I think what you're trying to say is it has to start at the grassroots level.
It does.
It does, and it's got to filtrate. But unfortunately, and I'm always a Debbie Downer. I'm sorry. In my lifetime, I've seen us lose a lot of freedoms
that we had.
Yeah,
I have fewer today than when I was born.
Right, and so I think they know this. The ones that are running the world, really, and I see it now that I've gotten older, and young kids. By the time they get to our age, who knows what it'll be? That's what you and I think, are sitting here talking about.
It is. Yeah, and so, but now follow me. So Tim, follow me. If so one of the things that I've started, you see this little banner up at the top that says Project for the People, right?
Yeah.
So I have started a little initiative that it's not even been a month yet. And so one of the things that I did, so let me ask you, okay, this is going to be fun for me. So Tim, if you don't care, tell me what state you're in and what congressional district you're in.
I couldn't tell you the congressional district.
Okay.
I live in Missouri, North Missouri, up near Kirksville, the closest place I can.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
So give me a second. So listen, my uncle lives in oh my gosh. Do you know is it Horry County, Missouri? Over in
Sullivan County and Adair County.
Okay, give me a second.
If you want to Google who's all that.
Yeah, what county is it?
A friend of mine, is he in the Adair County or is he in Putnam?
Okay, I got Kirksville. I got it.
Representatives.
I got it. Hold on. I got you.
Personally,
but my uncle is in a small town. I think they have like 5,700 people there. So Kirksville is in the 6th congressional district. Okay. And it's North Missouri, including Adair County. That's what it says. And it says the representative for your congressional district is Sam Graves.
Say for Sullivan County?
Hold on a second.
Look up Greencastle or Green City.
Okay, hold on.
Right beside them. I always just tell everybody Kirksville because it's the biggest city near us.
Okay, I got you. Yep, it includes Sullivan County. It is.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so watch this. So I created something because here's what I believe we have to start doing. The same way you and I are having this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. I believe that the more we have these conversations in our communities and online and with each other, right? And then this is how we get past the oh, you're just a liberal, and oh, you're just a Republican, and oh, you're just MAGA, and oh, like I can't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I want to talk about
I agree with you. People need to quit taking sides in that way.
Yeah.
Because we're all in the same boat.
So check this out, Tim. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to turn my camera around so I can show you. Now, where am I? Okay, so check this out. I'm going to here. So we met last night, and tomorrow will be our first kind of like day where we put this in motion, right? So look, if I show you, this is something, I made this little project for the people. So I have created resources for all 50 states and every congressional county in every state. So watch this. I'm going to go to Missouri, and I'm going to go to Congressional District 6. And look at this. 22,000 people in your congressional district are going to lose their Medicaid, your MO Health Net insurance, by 2034 because of the Republican bill last year. That's an astounding number for that area.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big. That's all of Kirksville itself.
Right. So now watch this. And how many people do you know that get SNAP benefits, that get, their EBT, their food stamps? 16,000. 16,000 are going to lose some or all of that.
Yep.
Okay. So now imagine. So here's what's happening tomorrow. About 400 some odd people have joined this little movement, this Project for the People thing. And they have access to this entire Google Drive that I've created, right? And get this, I even did and I even did it in Spanish too, right? But so tomorrow, people that are part of this community are going to post this across their social media. I've got some people that are going to print them, and they're actually going to go out and talk to their neighbors, right? Because why? Because if people understand how what's happening truly impacts them, I know he did, but people can be ready to make change. And then we're not talking about, do you love Donald Trump or not, or do you support whatever? We're actually talking about the things that matter to each and every one of us, right? So for those of you guys who are saying you would love to have access to the information, I have a link tree. It is in my TikTok profile. Whoops, hold on. I almost flipped that over. And all you have to do is go to my link tree that's in my bio and click the very first link and submit your information. Yeah, Alec is disgusting. For whoever went and looked it up after I talked about it, it's horrible. But folks, this is what I know. So I literally have built a really solid database, and I have done graphics for every congressional district in this country around Medicaid and around SNAP benefits, right? And I've got a ton more that are coming. Thanks, Red Hot. Okay. And here's the thing. It will not be something that happens overnight, but you all, there's nothing that grows faster than when somebody finds something to absolutely believe in. When people get hope, when people get excited about something, you can actually do good work. And if you all came in here when I was first talking to Moon Goon and you said, damn, she's being really condescending, and it's because he came up here talking just dumb shit. And the thing that made me angry was I said at the very beginning, if you're here just to argue, if you're here just to debate, or you think this shit is funny and you don't really care about the country, please leave. Okay. And so he chose to stay and talk shit. And so I matched his energy. I matched his energy. But as you can see, when I'm not talking to Moon Goon and I'm talking to other people, right, I don't sound that way. But what's also included on these graphics and what's also included in the Google Drive is I have links for every single one of these statistics where you can just show people the sources, right? You can show people where this data came from. I literally gave the entire Congressional Budget Office's report. It's in there. Now, if the graphic that I made for you has an elderly person, I've also included what percentage of your nursing home residents are covered by Medicaid, because it's important. I can promise you, Lucy, I'm not posting the links. What you need to do is go to my link tree. You need to click the very first link in my link tree and put in your information so that you can get access to everything. And then you can join us for the Google Meets where we have meetings and we actually role play. How many of you guys were in the meeting last night? Because we role played last night. I've got people that are nervous. They're like, I've never knocked on a door. I've never talked to anybody about this. I've never, whatever. And so we role played last night, right? So that people could have like a feeling for what that's going to be like to have conversation with people, because that's what it's going to take. And I get the fact, folks, that there's a lot going on. But the thing about it is, you and I cannot change what's happening in Iran. We can't. But what we can do is lay the groundwork to change things moving forward. And I had somebody in the comments ask me if I'm an independent. I mean, if that's what you want to call me, in my lifetime, I have voted for Republicans and Democrats. I am somebody that I support policy that is good for human beings, and call me crazy, but I care about working class and poor people more than I do rich ass people. I just do. I just do. I am just tired of seeing, when they say things like, oh, well, you should just go out and get a job. I know people that have worked their whole lives, and I mean hard work, in fields and in factories and waiting tables, hard work. And they never got rich. They never got well off. It's not because of their work ethic. It's not because their willingness to do hard things. It's because we have systems that favor rich people and corporations. It doesn't matter how many opportunities are out there if you don't have access to them, right? It doesn't matter. If you don't have access to the opportunity, it don't matter that it's there. You could set $100 million in the middle of the floor, and if it is encased into a non-breakable, whatever, like you can't get in it, it don't matter. You're just sitting there looking at it. And so we have to develop things that give us access. We have to get people into office that will give us access. So let me just, do I even want to do this or not? So, yeah, so here's what's going to happen right now. For everybody that missed last night, the recording is ready. And when I get done with this live, I'm going to send everybody their email out. That email will have a link to the very first webinar where I talked about what Project for the People is. It will have a link to last night's meeting. It will have a link where you can access the Google Drive and all of those things. It will have everything in it. Here's the one thing that I'm going to ask you all. I'm going to ask you to operate from a place of integrity. Okay. And here's what I mean. I designed all of these things for you to use. They have my watermark on them. Please don't remove them. I worked really hard to give you all these resources. Please just respect the time and the effort and the energy that I put into them. Okay? That's all I'm asking. Nobody's paid me a dime to do any of this. Nothing. Okay? So just please be respectful. That's all I've asked for. And the whole reason I am willing to do something like this is because we have to do something different. We have to do something different. And that's one of the reasons I don't want to say third party or, make a third party, because that just puts us right back in the same game. How about we just stop talking about what party people come from? And how about we start actually looking at what the policy is? So not just what they say, but what it actually means. And I want to give you guys an example. I'm going to play a recording. So let me tell you what I saw this morning. And that's the whole reason that I'm live, because I didn't want to be on here today. I'm tired and I'm frustrated. So I just really did not want to be here today. But here's what happened. So I was scrolling through social media, first mistake I fucking made. And I saw this clip of Marco Rubio, right? And this clip of Marco Rubio, he's talking about this deal that China made with Brazil and this currency that China has, and how in 5 or 6 years sanctions aren't going to matter because they have another currency and they're going to be able to get around the dollar. And he talks about all this stuff. And I got curious because it was a Fox News clip, but something in my soul was just like, when did he say this? Because I know his ass did not say it today, right? I just couldn't imagine that Marco Rubio would be talking about these things today. So I went looking for this specific clip. And here's what I don't like about the way that things can be used to manipulate people, okay? So people were sharing this clip with no context. Nope, VJ, do you know when he really said it? He said it 3 years ago during the Biden administration when he was a senator. It's 3 years old. I want to show you all. I'm going to play the clip and I'm going to show it to you. And as I show you this clip, I want to talk to you about the difference between listening for the words and what people say, but also listening to what they actually mean and what the reality of it is. Okay. So let me show you. I want to show you all this. Okay. So this is the one. So the first clue is that this damn thing is on Sean Hannity. Does Hannity even have a show anymore, y'all? Yeah, VJ, and that's why I went looking for it. Mila, baby. Mimi. I don't think so, but it don't matter. So let me just show y'all. And listen, I screen recorded this off my phone. So, well, this was on Facebook. Mimi, this was everywhere. And then when I looked, somebody had posted it in January and somebody had posted here and somebody had posted there. But let me just show you all, okay? Let me just show you. And then we're going to talk about it. Does he? Okay. See, I would not know. But listen. Okay, here we go. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Window. This is what I want to share. And this is what I want you all to see. Yeah, it's very misleading. Okay, so look. Here's the clip. All right. And I want you all to listen. Let me make sure my volume is turned up. Okay. Here we go. There, that's better, right? Okay, so listen. Oh, shit. I'm trying to click the screen, y'all. It's a recording. I need to click down here. Y'all, I was up here clicking the hell out of his face. It's down here, beloveds. But the first thing that I want you to see is that this is Fox News and it's 3 years ago. Okay? I'm tired. I done told y'all. But look, it's 3 years ago. Okay? So that's the first thing that I want you to know. Now watch.
Here now, Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, how are you? All right, Senator, President Xi said he's preparing for war. They have been ramping up their military now for over a decade, and now they increased their defense budget another 7.6%. And President Xi said he's preparing for war. I assume it's against us. Is that a wrong assumption?
Well, it's not against Belgium or Luxembourg. Look, I think the bottom line is we're in a conflict. And I think we have to start talking about it that way. You know, a lot of time, most of the people are up here now don't remember. You know, I was very young, obviously, at the end of the Cold War, but it's been about 30 years since there was another superpower on the earth that was in conflict with the United States. And we are back in that place. And we need to stop pretending like that's not the case. Now, I hope it's never an armed conflict, but it's a conflict at every level you can imagine. And I think, look, we have a couple problems. Number one, the White House, the Biden administration is filled with a bunch of traditional, conventional political figures that grew up over the last 20 years talking about cooperating with China. We saw how that worked out. They took all of our jobs, they took all of our factories. They got rich, we got poorer.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So listen, but David, when they showed the clip, they didn't show Hannity and they didn't show Hannity calling him senator. The clip doesn't show Hannity introducing him and it doesn't show him being called senator. That's why it's misleading. But I want you to pay attention to what he just said, okay? I want you to pay attention to what he said. He said the Biden administration is full of traditional people who believe that we should just negotiate and with China. And he said, you see how that worked out for us. He said, listen to this, you guys. He said, they took all of our jobs. They took all of this. No, they didn't. China did not take our jobs. Corporations sent our jobs to China. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Okay? But this is when I said you have to listen to what people are saying and the words that they choose. Okay? So I'm going to rewind again so that you hear.
But it's a conflict at every level you can imagine. And I think, look, we have a couple problems. Number one, the White House, the Biden administration is filled with a bunch of traditional, conventional political figures that grew up over the last 20 years talking about cooperating with China. We saw how that worked out. They took all of our jobs, they took all of our factories. They got rich, we got poor. Their middle class grew, our middle class shrunk.
Our middle class shrunk because corporations do not pay a livable wage. Our middle class shrunk because we give more to corporations than regular people. Our middle class shrunk because corporations sent their jobs to China, to India, because they didn't want to pay Americans a livable wage, right? So it is right. And because they got rid of unions, that's also part of it, right? We outsourced everything. We went from being a manufacturing industrial country to being a service country. China didn't take anything. And let me just offer this to the American people, right? If China was able to just take our jobs, what does that say about the United States? Yeah, baby. I know you did, being silly. Here, let me help you. Will you do me a big favor? Will you give me some water? My cup is empty. I drank it all.
But I did it last night.
I know. Can you do it real quick since I'm working? And then you can get a granola bar. Or do you want to get donuts this morning? Yeah? Okay. You get me some water and I'll get some donuts. Okay. She said, I did it last night. Girl, I did it this morning. But anyway, if you're following me for the first time, that is my youngest grandbaby. My grandkids are with me a lot, and they always come first. And sometimes you just have to deal with me talking to them while I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, coolest mom ever. I've done eggs and bacon and all the things every morning, but today I don't feel like doing shit else, so it's going to be a donut day. But anyway, so what would it say about us, you all? What would it say about us as a country if China could just take all of our jobs? Wouldn't that make us weak as hell? They said, thank you for helping Tutu, Mila. Thank you, Sugar Butt. Right? So what would that say about us? China doesn't take our jobs, right? Absolutely not. Our corporations gave our jobs away. That's what happens. Okay, so listen to the rest of what he says.
They make things and we don't. That was,
They make things and we don't. Why aren't we making things? Because we have corporations that are still making things. They just don't make them here. Let's be clear. We have corporations in the United States of America that make a ton of stuff. They just don't make it here, right? Listen.
So, but I think the other problem we have, and you've alluded to this, is these guys in China, they watch TV. I mean, they watch TV broadcasts of what's happening in America.
Listen.
And I hate saying this stuff.
Oh, I hit the, sorry, y'all, I hit the remote. Sorry, I hit the remote, y'all. I mean, the remote. Oh my God. I hit the mouse. Listen to this part.
So, but I think the other problem we have, and you've alluded to this, is these guys in China, they watch TV. I mean, they watch TV broadcasts of what's happening in America. And I hate saying this because I don't want to encourage our enemies, but you turn on the TV and you watch Joe Biden speak on any topic on any day that does not inspire respect.
Now, I want to stop.
Respect or apprehension on the part of our adversaries. They're probably saying, now's the time to strike, guys.
Okay, now listen to what he just said. He said they watch Joe Biden on TV and it doesn't inspire, see you later, Jody, it doesn't inspire respect. they're probably thinking now's the time to strike. Hold on, but I just need to point this out. This is why I said, okay, I have to go live because we have to talk about this. Listen.
And I hate saying this because I don't want to encourage our enemies, but you turn on the TV, you watch Joe Biden speak on any topic on any day, that does not inspire respect or apprehension on the part of our adversaries. They're probably saying, now's the time to strike, guys.
Well, they definitely are doing that. And look at this new alliance that is emerging. I call it a new axis.
Oh, they're definitely trying to do that. Now, before I get to this part, I need to take a break. So listen, before I get to this part, this is what we have to talk about. So, all right. So listen, this is why I have up the image that I have up today. When it says time for a reality check, and he says, well, our adversaries are watching TV and they look at Joe Biden and, and he doesn't inspire respect. He doesn't inspire apprehension. I'm sorry. Can we talk about the current president of the United States of America? When he talks about a former senator whose last name is Green and says, Marjorie Taylor Brown, because green turns to brown when it's under stress. Do you really think that China has sat back and watched Iran basically whip our ass strategically, right? And China's somehow apprehensive of dealing with us? Do you think China is scared of the United States of America right now? Do you think they are apprehensive in dealing with us right now? No. Do you think China didn't see the president of the United States post a video that at the end showed a former president and his wife as if they were monkeys? How has Iran kicked our ass? Oh, a lot of different ways. So, first of all, between 13 and 17 of our military bases in the Gulf region are significantly damaged. Some of them are uninhabitable. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. Before this war, Iran did not control the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Iran, prior to this war, had sanctions. We lifted those sanctions. The president of the United States of America lifted the sanctions off of Iran, and they are selling a shit ton of oil because, by the way, China buys 90% of Iran's oil, and they are making money hand over foot. So they are way richer today than they were 6 weeks ago, right? In addition to that, we have now confirmed that Iran was able to strike and damage part of the east-west pipeline that is in Saudi Arabia. Well, that's the pipeline that we were using to try to get around what was not coming through the strait. Now, here's what's crazy about that. Where that's been damaged, it produced 700,000 barrels of oil a day. So until that gets repaired, that is 700,000 barrels of oil a day that is not in production. And then on top of that, there's another 600,000 oils a day where they hit a place in Saudi. So that is 1.3 million barrels of oil a day that we were producing to get around what's not coming through the strait that is now out of production. So when you ask me, how has Iran won? They are richer today. We are poorer today. We have run through at least 25% of our Tomahawk arsenal. Our JMOS, we've used all of them. We've lost soldiers. Their regime is still the same. As a matter of fact, the son that is in charge today is actually more extreme than his father. The IRGC is stronger and more radical, and the country is more unified than when we began. That is how Iran has won. Oh, the Tomahawks will take 2 to 3 years to replace. And that's before we talk about inflation, which is 3.2%. That's before we talk about gas. It's before we talk about fertilizer. So, twinkle toes, does that make sense? Good morning, Wanda. That's how Iran has won. That's many of the ways, just off the top of my head, that I can tell you that Iran has won. You're welcome. Do you all understand that Iran, this tiny little place in the Middle East, has made a fool out of the world's superpower? Do you know that some of the things that it's between 13 and 17. It's between 13 and 17 bases. There are soldiers that have come out and have said that what Pete Hegseth said happened did not happen. Mm-hmm. So I think that people really need to understand where we are and what's going on right now. So, do I think they are lying about the number of fatalities? The answer is yes, I do. I absolutely do. Cat probably, but I don't know. Right? So, I mean, when it is crazy. Yes, it was human rights governed. Yes, it was. So appreciate you, Vanessa. So let me be clear. There was a rescue mission. There was. But what was happening alongside of that rescue mission was a poor attempt to grab enriched uranium, which failed miserably. And so as a result, we were like, oh, let's just send 100 people to go get this guy who was downed. Okay. Absolutely. That is why. So why do you think that General George was forced to retire? Because he said, we're not doing that dumb shit. And so they got rid of him. They found somebody that would lead that expedition. And you now see what happens. We have an entire naval vessel that is out of commission and parked in Italy because Iran hit it. This is real, folks. They were very, very smart. So if you all think about what we've done, right? They downed 2 Black Hawk helicopters. They took out the 2 C-130s, right? So listen, folks, Iran, while we were so busy talking about enriched uranium, Iran said, cool, we need to focus on the things that we can build and things that we can get that will protect us and do damage if we need to defend ourselves. So they got really good at ballistic missiles and drones, which, by the way, are significantly cheaper to make and effective as hell. A lot of our military bases and our things that we have are from 20 years ago. Good morning, Masani. And so if you take out the satellite that's up there, there's no way to detect it, and there's no way to protect what we have underneath. I don't know any other way that I can express this to people. It doesn't, y'all, I'm a veteran. I served this country. So did my entire family. I am not someone that wants to sit up here and say, we just got shamed. We really did, strategically. They're fine. They are not hurting. We are. They got a shit ton of money to rebuild anything we bombed. and their regime was ready they were ready. Oh, okay, you took out this leader, here's the next one. You took out this leader, here's the next one. Their military is not structured like ours. They have a mosaic military. 31 different little, what are they called? Little units. But this is what happens because Americans don't know. And I'm not saying that Americans are dumb, because we're not. We are not given access to easily, readily available access in a way that is consumable and digestible for the global stage. Americans have been taught to believe that the whole world centers around us, and it does not. The whole world has existed for thousands of years before we ever became here, before we were a thing. Good morning, Frozo. You want to say something? It's 31 armies, Yvonne. It's 31 armies that are all connected in Iran together. Yeah, so all of their, let me pull this up real quick and then I'm going to go to Frozo. So let me show you. So, yeah, so they have about 600,000 personnel, but they have a dual system. And so they have a conventional army, and then they have the IRGC, right? And they have, it's 31 autonomous provincial commands. So for every province that exists in Iran, plus Tehran, right? So there's 30 provinces, and then there's Tehran. So Tehran has its own autonomous military command, and then so does every single province. So it's not like you can just shut them all down. That's not a thing. The only person that can agree to a ceasefire is the supreme leader. That's it. Nobody can. Yeah. So think about their military. It's kind of like our National Guard. They operate separately from each other. Yep. They operate separately like each other. And the only person that can stand them down is the supreme leader, and his ass is unconscious in the hospital. Right, Ruby? That's it. That's why today, and I haven't seen as of this morning, but as of last night, Iran had not even sent anybody to Islamabad to start negotiations. Iran said, we're not sending a single soul to Islamabad until Israel stops bombing Lebanon. And that's where we were last time I looked last night. Frozo, you want to hop in here and say something?
Good morning. It is afternoon for me. It is late afternoon here. It's about 4 p.m. Apologies for my weird sounding mouth. I have hay fever.
Oh.
It's not been the best.
Yeah.
But yes, I saw you live again. I saw. Let me just pop in. Let me just see what's been said again. A lot of wonderful information. In fact, when we spoke a couple of days ago, I was spending a lot of yesterday actually revising, rehashing, rewriting a lot of the plans and ideas I already have.
Yeah.
And I've got like kind of a chart. I've got a bit like a chart. I've got like this massive outbook, and I've got like a chart of like dates, timelines. This is what you should do. This is how it should be done. This is the basic principles. Okay, by this time this should be done. By that time this should be done. This is who you should be working with. This is how. So I'm reworking the whole thing, and I've got like a lot of conversations with people back home as well. So we're getting these conversations going. It's going to be brilliant.
I love that.
But speaking about Iran, so not only do they have like a mosaic sort of military structure, each of the different fractions of the military, the IRGC, the conventional military, and the National Guard, because they have their own National Guard as well, they all have presidential orders that was given way before Khamenei was assassinated. So they are, till today, they are still carrying out the presidential orders that they were given till now. So those that are stationed in the mountains, they're in the mountains waiting for the Americans. The ones that are blockading the Strait of Hormuz, that's their job. They're going to stay there. They're not going to go anywhere. So that's essentially how they work. That's why they can work so seamlessly, because they've all been given orders. This is where you're going to pick. This is how you're going to do it.
Yes, Billy.
And that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that people. It's very frustrating when people think of the United States military like they see it in the movies, and that is not it. That is not it, folks. I don't think that people realize that, you know, China has double the military personnel that we do, right? I think that Americans have believed the propaganda that we have been sold our entire existence, and we are finding out in real time that the rest of the world has been here before. You know, when you think about the fact that half of Iran is Persians, if y'all don't know anything about Persians, like, listen, this is why they tell you we will still be standing. Buenos dias, Mr. Barrios. We will still be standing. They're not going to blink, folks. They are not like Americans. While they might love money, right? They love their country. They love their culture, their existence more. Like, they will figure it the fuck out, no matter what they have to do.
We're talking about a civilization that, while they have been conquered, they've never ever been assimilated.
Correct. That's perfect.
We've conquered them that assimilate to them, right?
Yes.
So, for example, the Persians, you know, they were originally Persian. It was actually a foreign empire that took control. Now the empire speaks Persian. When the Muslims came, it wasn't Arabic that was being spoken. It was Persian that was being spoken. Then you have the Ottomans. The Ottomans started speaking Persian. So every empire that you can take Iran, but you can't hold it.
And that's the part.
And America is now finding out the hard way. I mean, first of all, they can't even take Iran. Never mind hold it.
Right.
That's already difficult enough. Oh, Coffee, here's my brother from Nigeria. You know, we've been collaborating a lot on how we're going to help back home. I just shared the live with him because he was saying a lot of good stuff, and he just stuck with us. Hey there, brother. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's great to see you. First of all, I just want to say that I think the host is doing a wonderful job, because at first I thought she was an American, and I was like, wait a minute, how can an American get so much information about what's going on like that? Because normally I used to see the Americans on TikTok. Basically, they don't actually know how the outside world works. So, and when I saw her break it down, it was like, it was amazing. I couldn't fathom, you know, the courage and the information she had. So, I mean, just very much great job that you're doing. And I just want to say, just my brother said Iran had decentralized the military command before the unaliving of Khomeini. Yes, they did decentralize that. That's why you saw when the Americans and the Israelis attacked, you saw the response was swift. It didn't actually even reach 1 hour when they started hitting American bases. Right. Mm-hmm. So again, the Americans don't understand that the Iranians had 7,000 years of civilization. Okay, these are the people who actually defeated the Babylonians and the Median Empire, and they formed what was called the Achaemenid Empire. And during the peak of their the expansionism, they expand into 5.5 million square kilometers of that empire. It goes into the Balkans, present-day Ukraine, Poland, Romania. It actually extended into West Indus River in India. It extended to the kingdoms of Egypt. And so this was actually an empire that had a lot of, expansionism, and they had a lot of science and technology. So I think the Americans do not have the idea of this kind of massive empire and the culture of the people of Iran. Again, you have so many times when they had a lot of intrusion. Alexander the Great conquered Iran, but they fought Alexander the Great. They regained back the empire, which was the Sasanian Empire. And they also actually, the Islam, expansionism of Islam through Arabia also came and conquered those areas. And so that was the only time when the Persian Empire were actually conquered. But they were very much resistance to outside culture. So I just want to say, again, the Americans are actually superficial when it comes to what the government is doing abroad. What actually, and what we see Americans, like how we feel as an outsider, You're always the people that are telling people like, do this, do that,
Yeah.
But all in all, I think America is finding the hard way right now.
Yep.
It's called like F around and find out. But anyway, host, I just don't want to take a lot of time. Yeah, thank you actually for allowing me to speak. Okay, I'm just gonna.
No, you're welcome. I'm glad you're here. And this is what I'm saying. So, the last, I don't know if you want to call it a relationship I dated a Nigerian dude, right? And one of the things that I'm always jealous of is we Americans think that we have like the best education in the world. And for our Ivy League universities, we do. For our prominent, like higher education institutions, they're incredible. But our public education system doesn't do. I keep telling people, I said, y'all don't understand. I don't know that I've ever met an African that speaks less than 4 to 6 languages. You know what I mean? The knowledge that other countries have about history and about like what's actually happening in other countries and what has happened in other countries just doesn't exist here. We don't do it. And it is something that I've always just kind of been like jealous of because we don't get it. And Americans are finding out in real time just how great we aren't. And I don't say that because I don't love my country. I don't love the government in my country. I love the people, most of you, right? Some of you I don't care for, but you don't love everybody. But yeah, and so so does Tarko know you, Coffee?
Yeah, no Tarko. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It seems I'm bringing all the Nigerians to Dani's platform today.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, and so like this is the thing that people, education is a real deal. Honey, you don't get educated in Nigeria, your mama's gonna whip your ass. And you ain't gonna say nothing about it, by the way. You're not gonna say nothing about it. But that's my really horrible Nigerian accent. But this is the thing, is that, people will say things to me about my stances on things. And I've had people say, you be careful. And I'm like, I'm the kind of person you don't want to martyr, right? I'm the kind of person that you don't want to make something out of. Leave my ass alone and let me talk. Because the minute you make people really pay attention, it's going to be to your detriment. But I can't, people are just talking about the world that we live in. But here's my thing. The way that I feel is that, how people say, and you guys have heard me say this, I don't believe in being on the right side of history. I believe in being on the right side of the present. That's what I believe in being on, is the right side of the present. And the right side for me is never going to be something that harms people and that chooses corporations over humanity. Like I'm just not going to be it. I'm not going to do it. So we're going to tell the truth and shame the devil. And then we're going to work our asses off to create something different. So, by the way, Frozo, I do have to tell you this. So, I haven't looked since last night, but the people that have signed up to be part of Project for the People, we now represent 43 states out of the 50. And the last count that I had, we are at about 300 counties. So let me just tell y'all something. There's only 3,100 counties in the United States of America, give or take a few, right? So at almost 300 people, at 300 counties, we represent almost 10% of the counties in this country. And we've only been at this for 3.5 weeks. I can't wait to see what, I can't wait to see what it's like.
Okay, Adam, Dani is incredible. Okay, so just very quickly, my brother Adam, he's a medical doctor. Okay, who runs an NGO in Nigeria that is trying to get improved sort of primary education for young boys and girls in the north of Nigeria. So guys, follow him. He's doing really, really amazing work down there.
I love that.
Adam, Dani over here is really trying to, quote unquote, take over the United States one day at a time.
Kinda.
Right. By speaking to, all the different people from all the different constituencies in the United States, and essentially trying to change the education, the welfare, the physical welfare, social welfare of Americans, and to get better political representation and to fight against the corruption of the United States. So she's an amazing person.
Thank you.
You already follow her, but just keep coming, man. You're really gonna learn a lot.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Go ahead, Coffee.
So, yeah, she is an amazing person because I told you earlier, I was scrolling, I saw her live, and the information that she was actually bringing out to light wasn't the normal American education system that gave her the information. So I know that this person had to walk their way and garner this information, and I can see the enthusiasm that she works with, very incredible, articulate, and on point. So I think, yes, it's very good. I watched your show when you tried, I think you were lecturing another white guy who tried to call you some type of way, and you just called him out, and he just flinched. Again, that was the time I knew that you are just like you're made out of gold. So anyway,
I appreciate that.
I actually think that you're doing a great job, and we actually need to expand this political information that we got, and let the people know exactly what their government is doing, and also the grassroots enlightenment to make the education system to be affordable, and also to enlighten a lot of people so that they can have their livelihood and they can be productive people of the society. That's a very incredible job, and I followed you, and I would like you to follow me back so that we can talk some more. Actually,
I already did. I followed you, and I followed Tarko. Yeah, you're very welcome. I think one of the
friend Tarko here, I think was
come on in, Tarko.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that I kind of bumped into you. I follow Coffee and Frosty, and after 3 minutes I wanted to come up because I'm really impressed the fact that you're in America and you're able to clearly see through the spin doctoring that is done.
It's a lot.
And that's really the tragedy. America has all this great access to information. They have some of the best TV stations, but frankly, they're all captured by entities that want to spin things around.
100%.
And it's done at such a sophisticated level that it's done so subtly that you don't even realize it.
Right.
But increasingly now with social media, people are beginning to realize, Palestine is not all what we've been told about. These guys are normal human beings like the rest of us. They have families, they have babies, and their mothers grieve and their uncles worry about them.
Yep.
But if you keep listening to the media, it's like, oh, this Palestinian guy blew up a bomb. This Palestinian guy with a bird is trying to hijack a plane. The same thing with, during the ban or the supposed ban that was going to go on TikTok. I was really amazed at the number of Americans that change even their view of China and the Chinese. They just realized, hey, these are normal people and they got no problems.
Yeah.
Chinese don't hate us. Chinese don't mean any evil towards us. And they're extremely kind people. They're just like us trying to make a living. So, and now the same thing we're seeing with Iran. It's like, what problems does America have with Iran? What's the problem that an American have with an Iranian? Why are we going to war with these people? And even the whole spin, fortunately, Trump comes from such an old generation. He doesn't even understand how quickly things change with the new generation.
Right.
And that's now why they're even trying to, that's why they're trying to control things like TikTok now. Because we're able to interact directly without having somebody in the middle who's going to alter the narrative and give us a different perspective of things. So I think you're doing an excellent job because more Americans would listen to you than they would listen to foreigners. Because
let me help you.
If an Iranian comes to tell them their perspective and show them what their government is doing to their infrastructure, and hey, these guys are bombing our schools, they're bombing our hospitals, they're bombing our bridges. Most Americans don't realize this is what exactly America is doing.
Yes.
They just think, oh, these evil guys are going and they want to build a nuclear bomb to come and attack. What does you bombing the oldest vaccine facility have to do with them acquiring a nuclear BOMB?
Do you want to bring your stool over here?
It's really great that now people are able to bypass all this mainstream media, because honestly, it's not mainstream media anymore. It's like poison media. It just poisons your mind. And some of us that grow up in other countries, we don't have as much of a problem. The spin doctors we have are not as sophisticated.
Yes.
And they don't have the financial capabilities of people in the West. So these guys, even before the news comes, they've already altered it and they've already have a new spin on it. So I encourage your viewers to get their news from trusted sources and to rely less and less on the mainstream media, because the way they do it is so subtle. You don't even feel it, and you really feel they're very genuine.
Were you?
And that's a scary game.
Hold on, that's my grandbaby. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so they're with me a lot, and I appreciate that. So I'll just share with people a lot of the places where I trust news, right? So what, babe? I see it. You found it. So like I will look at Al Jazeera. If I'm looking for a lot of domestic stuff, I'm going to look at ProPublica or Politico. I like The Guardian as well. Dropsite, and then Zateo. Those are pretty much those are the pretty much. And then I still will kind of go between them and see kind of what they're saying. And I don't like listening to the commentary. Ground news too. Yep. I don't like listening to the commentary. I like to get straight to like what it is that we're talking about, especially if we're going to talk about a clip of what someone said. I don't want your interpretation of what they said. I want to hear what they said so that I can determine for myself what I believe it said and what I believe that it meant, and then go from there. So, you good, sis? Okay. Go ahead.
You're absolutely correct. It's the commentary where the indoctrination actually happens,
Yep.
And they make it look like they're so neutral. Like they would give you a little bit of side here and then on the other side, but they never tell you the truth.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, and most Europeans, even at this point, are actually disappointed by the American public and the level of, I don't want to call it intelligence, but I don't know what to call it. Like, they're even amazed that this guy is really like this guy as their president.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this really who they elected? Is this the best that they can find?
Yeah.
You know, Europeans are really shocked.
I know.
They're shocked.
Yeah. And so what it is it right, Aaron, it's ignorance. It is ignorance. And it's also, so in the United States, one of the things that we really struggle with, and I think one of the reasons why I'm able to communicate with people the way that I do is because like who I am today, you would be shocked to have known me like 25, 30 years ago. Okay. Because I grew up in a small town in Northeast Tennessee, right? So I grew up in kind of small town, rural Tennessee. Where I'm from is 96% white. Probably today it's 80% Republican, 84% Republican,
Wow.
something like that. Yeah, and it's probably 99.9% Christian. Like that's where I'm from. So at one time in my life, and I'm a big believer that if you were part of the oppression or the disenfranchising of people or the discrimination of people, no matter who those people are, then as loud as you were doing those things is as loud as you need to be undoing those things, right? So I am someone that grew up and it was, listen, God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, right? It was, if God got you pregnant, then then you were meant to have a baby and whatever happens is God's will. I was one of those, if you're not believing in Christianity, you're going straight to hell and da 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 da. And I remember when 9/11 happened, y'all. I remember saying things like, ooh, that shock and awe is coming, and being behind it, like being excited about it. Okay. I can remember all of those because you just believe what they've told you. Like I'm a veteran, and there was a time when you join to serve, like you join and you serve because you believe it's an honorable thing to do. And then when you realize that you're actually the terrorist, when you begin to understand that you toppled the democratic government that existed in Iran in 1951, you did that. The UK did that. When you understand that you actually like there was a time when the reason Iran has a military is because we gave it to him in the 50s. We loved the Shah. The Shah was great because he wanted to, he wanted to westernize Iran. So we gave him everything. We gave him a shit ton of money and military things. People don't realize that we weaponized Saddam Hussein against Iran and then sold Iran weapons during that war and caused like hundreds of thousands of Iranians to die. Like if I lived in Iran, I might wake up and be like, death to America, because that's us. And it is a lot to digest. It's how I feel as a biracial woman in this country. Like you always know that racism exists, and you know about Jim Crow, and you know about water fountains, and you know about whatever, but it's different. I can remember in 2016 when I watched the documentary 13th, which if you guys have not seen it, please watch it. It's on Netflix, but it's free on YouTube. And it's about the 13th Amendment, but so many other things. And I can remember discovering Lee Atwater and then hearing his recording of him sitting in the Reagan White House and them saying, how do you get the votes of racists without sounding racist? And he says, and in the 1950s, you start out saying N-word, N-word, N-word. But by the 60s, you can't say that anymore. So you got to say things like forced busing and states' rights. And even then, that's too racial. So you got to say things like taxes and whatever. And he said, and so you get so abstract that it doesn't sound racial, but the end result is it hurts Black people more than white people. And when I listened to that, it really hit me that I live in and I serve a government that does not like me. I gave my father for them, right? My father had 2 tours in Vietnam. He died at the age of 32 from Agent Orange. My brother's 55, and right now, 2 weeks ago, just found out he has multiple myeloma. Why? From the burn pits in Iraq. I gave you my people, right? And you literally don't like us. You can't stand us. And it's something to sit with that. It is really something to sit with that. And this is even more of that when you understand that it's been the United States of America and Israel. It's been Zionism and Christian Zionism, and Judaism is not Zionism, and Islam is not what they make it out to be. And I love the Palestinians that I know and that I've met. We host them on my live. Today is a Pali panel day. So at 1 p.m., do you know what you're going to see? You're going to see Raja and Mohammed OS, who just had twins, by the way. And you're going to see Bilal, and you'll see maybe Abu Siraj, and you're going to see Zina, and then you'll see Allah Shakshak, who has a horrible heart condition and needs to get out of Gaza so bad. And you're going to see Hussein, who has cancer, and he has a huge tumor in his neck, needs to get out of Gaza. You'll see Amal, you'll see Mo, you'll see, like, these are all of our friends that we've made. And in the last 10 months or so, really become to understand what's happening in Palestine, and educating people about the Balfour Declaration, and then the League of Nations, and the British Mandate, and the this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm surprised anybody will, they have every right to hate us, and yet they don't. They hate our government, but they don't hate us because we didn't know what we didn't know. And so for me, I just think it's a lot. And I can understand why some people would rather reject the new information, because if you take the information, it means that much of what you've believed and your core values for a lot of your life in this country just aren't true. And that will shake you to your core. It will shake you to your core. But it's one of the reasons why I think I get to talk to people the way that I do, because I am biracial, because I used to be this way and I used to be that way. And so I know where they're coming from. So I give them a little more grace so they can get to the other side. So, but no, I appreciate you guys.
Honestly, I think one of the things I've struggled with the most was initially at the start, it was grace initially at the start. Maybe it's because of the way that I think and the way that I expect people to see things the way that I do. I sort of think the way that I am, and because they're not, there's a kind of divide, and there's a massive disconnect, which leads to a lot of frustration, specifically for me, and I'm sure Adam and Taco can sort of agree with this as well, because trying to get people from back home, and I say this about Nigerians, before I start pointing at other people, I always like to point fingers at my own camp first and see what's happening in my own camp, right? And one of the things that I say about people back home is Nigerians are smart when it comes to fixing every other problem except their own.
Isn't that most of us, though?
True, right? We just like to just complain about the problem all day, 24/7, 365, and not actually fix the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And when I've just sort of realized that the only reason why a lot of people just want to sit around and complain about a problem all day is because they're faced with a situation that they can't necessarily get out of themselves. In Nigeria, we talk a lot about the corruption and whatnot, and the poverty, right? And a lot of people, they've developed the mentality of we need to hard hustle out of the poverty. But the poverty is still there. You can't hard hustle out of poverty.
Nope.
Right?
Right.
And so because they can't hard hustle out of the poverty, there's now a lot of resentment. And that resentment is what leads to the blame. Now that I understand that, I blame a lot less. And I'm like, okay, let's how the hell do we fix this problem? And the solutions are actually so simple. Like, when I break it down, the solution is so simple, but it's difficult in its execution.
Yeah, it is. So we say this all the time, right? That simple doesn't mean easy. Simple does not mean it's easy, right? It's just like, we know how to be healthy. We know, eat fewer calories than you burn, eat fruits and vegetables, stay away from, complex carbs, don't eat processed foods, and, get out and put your bare feet in the grass and get some sunlight. We know that. It's simple, but it ain't easy. It's not. So I love this person called Brene Brown. And so she says, it's not the what. It's not the how, because we know how to do it, but it's the what that we got to focus on. And it's the what that gets in the way. What is it that's getting in the way of us doing the things that are so simple? And oftentimes that's trauma. And oftentimes that's propaganda. And oftentimes that's fear, right? That's the stuff that gets in the way. I think about how disconnected we are. And I think that people forget, in this country, we have been bombarded with Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump for 10 years. It's been a solid decade that we've had to deal with this shit, right? And in the middle of that, we had a global pandemic. And then our country was dumb enough to politicize a global pandemic. So millions of people died that didn't really have to. That's why like a couple thousand people have measles in the United States of America. Like, what the hell is that, right? And we are not a country that has universal health care. So guess what? There are a lot of people, and that we are a country that doesn't really do the whole, like, we love to talk about our feelings, but not really like fix them. We love to talk about going to therapy, but or talk about our feelings, but we don't really like to do the work. And so I think that people forget that that's where we are. And we have a lot of work to do. And so what I try to remember, to your point, Frozo, what I try to remember is that anger is a surface emotion. And so underneath that anger is probably fear or trauma or disappointment, grief, or all the above wrapped into one. Like, that's the part that's underneath. And so we have to be willing to sit in the conversation and give people time. Not everybody's going to get there, but you got to give them an opportunity to get there. You know what I mean? It is Be Action. It is. Yeah. For those of you guys who do not know, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Substack, and TikTok, all the places. But to me, that's where the work is.
All of this on your, like, the YouTube and the links?
Yeah, my link tree is also in my YouTube bio.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
I mean, I'm really glad I bumped into you guys, but I'll be dropping soon, but I'll definitely check out your other, and I'll be coming more frequent until you get tired of me.
Oh, yeah, no, I will not get tired.
Real pleasure.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure having you. I will not get tired. I promise. Frozo says, hi, YouTube.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Guys.
Bye, Tarko. Appreciate you. Yeah, folks.
I wanted to say,
go ahead.
So one of my solutions to overcome the what, right, was to give people something to fight for and something to defend.
Yeah.
Give people a level of responsibility over something that has a lot of meaning to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be either a house, it could be either education, so that the kids can get educated. It can either be, a property, that the children can inherit, generations to come after them. It could even be, hospital, free healthcare. Right. So if you give people a level of responsibility over these things, mm-hmm. and you teach them how to manage and to run these things themselves, they're much more likely to fight for them and to defend them, even without you necessarily being there.
Yeah, you got to give them ownership of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I think is the solution.
Yeah, you have to give them ownership of it. So if you had been in the meeting last night, you would have heard people like really excited about getting out into their communities and taking this information and the role playing that we did. And people were like, I'm just excited to be able to do something. And that's the thing, is people are like, what can we do about where we are? And so for me, the only thing that I know is my grandson has asked me this before. He said, so Tutu, what do you think your superpower is? What's your superpower? And I said, words, communication. Like, I'm very clear about what my superpower is. And I'm also clear that that it can be used for horrible things. And at times it has, because I'm a human being, right? But so if I know that, because like I will have, like, even my mother, I don't know if she's watching or not today on Facebook, but even my mom, she's like, girl, I don't know how you do it. You have the patience of Job and da 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 da. And it's not that I have the patience of Job. It's just that I feel like this is what has to happen. Like, we have to be willing to have the conversations. So like, I will have conversations with white people about racism, and my black friends are like, girl. And this is what I tell my black friends: listen, if you cannot have the conversation without re-traumatizing yourself, then don't have it. But if you can, and you can build the bridge, or you can give them just enough information for them to go find the rest themselves, then do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jenny, I mean, this is just who I am. I had somebody, some troll on here the other day was like, do you own a lint roller? I do, but let me just tell you something. I have 3 grandbabies in this house. And I am doing all of the graphics for Project for the People, and writing. That's because you unplugged it, silly. And all of that. When I sit down in this chair, I am not interested. It's a rare occasion when y'all know right now. What do you see? You see a bandana and a t-shirt, and I have on some yoga pants, because I just need to get the information out. It's not about me. It's about the information. You know what I mean? So if you just happen to see my cat fuzz, you just see it. I don't give a damn. And by the way, if you are a human being that is in this live, and all you can think to ask me is about whether or not I have a lint roller, this is probably not the space for you, beloved. And that's okay. Because life be lifing. What, baby?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on the way.
I just want to say, with regards to the solution that you talked about, I think it's very important, the solutions.
Mm-hmm. Say it again. Hold on.
I said, with regards to the solutions that you're talking about, I think it's very important. It's one of the things that actually we need to focus on. And so my NGO, when I started it, I was focusing on girl child education, because I realized that in the northern part of my country, there are less participation of female in the schools. So specifically, young girls are not allowed to, well, some of them cannot afford the education, but some of them are actually being curtailed by tradition, beliefs, and societal restrictions. So what we did was we had to go into the areas where the less privileged areas and talk to the people, and then bring those girls to our school, where they actually learn the education, formal education, and also learn skills. So basically, what we have like a vocational training center that they come and learn a lot of things: perfume making, soap making, bags, shoes, these local cups, and then from there, when they learn the skills, we graduate them so they can go and actually be productive for themselves, and we actually follow them and see how their progress is. So basically, it's a solution-based, approach. So that's why I think it's very important, because for me, the girl child education, it's one of the things that I personally wants to see that grow exponentially in the part of the country that I am, because a lot of girls are, don't have the privilege, and some of them, you talk to the parents, they would say, oh, if we take this girl out of the street, who's gonna hawk and bring back the money? So you have to even give incentive for the parents,
Yes.
and also, you know, try to bring the girls into the schools, and then provide them with the necessary, you know, things to actually excel. So I mean,
Mhm.
I am about solution based. So that's what I'm actually what I was trying to say, to add up to what you said.
I love
Thank
that. So there's a Palestinian who joins my panel. His name is Ahmed Darari, and they have a school in Gaza, and I've done lives with them to kind of help fundraise and to give money for the students. And yeah, it's about the solutions. It is about, like, you can talk about the things, but if all you do is talk, it's not very helpful, right? And I think the difference for me, like, and I feel like you're kind of the same way, is I can't wait for somebody else. The way that I do it might not be perfect, but I'm going to do something, right? And I think that's the part. Are you familiar with a quote called "The Man in the Arena"? Frozo or Coffee? Are you familiar with that quote, "The Man in the Arena"?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So I call it yummy goodness. I'm going to give you a little bit of yummy goodness. So I love this quote so much because, so back home where I'm from, you might have heard me say that, our state legislators actually created a legal medical monopoly. Like, they own almost every hospital in a region that is geographically the size of New Jersey, right? And they've done horrible things to the healthcare back home. And so the nurses, that my second grandbaby was born at 26 weeks. So she was 1 pound, 3 ounces at birth, spent 91 days in a NICU. And I love those people because they saved her life, right? And when this was all happening, some of them reached out to me and they said, "We don't know what's going on. We're hearing they're going to close the NICU. We don't know what to do, da 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 da." And long story short, in 5 days, I found out who all was involved, the level of corruption, all of the things. I ended up organizing just off Facebook at first. And then we had like our first little community forum. It was like 250 people. Then the next time around, we had 500 people. And then 2 months after that, I just packed up my stuff and moved back home, because I felt like it was what I was supposed to do. And then 2 months after that, when we had done good things at that point and we had raised awareness and all of that, but we didn't really get their attention. And people will think I'm crazy, but literally, that night, I will never forget, May 1st, that night, I packed a backpack, my laptop, a sleeping bag. And the next morning, I went and I sat out in front of the hospital where my granddaughter was born, where they were going to close the NICU. And I sat on the public right of way and I went live. And I said, "I'm not leaving until someone hears us. You're welcome to join me if you want." And like by noon, 40, 50 people were outside with me. And literally that 4-foot public right of way is where we stayed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 257 days, from May 2nd of 2019 to January 13th of 2020. And during that time, there were people that were like, "Oh, well, you should say this way, or you shouldn't curse, or you shouldn't whatever." And that is when I found this quote, because there will always be people that criticize. Yeah. So like, if you really want to, if you Google me, just Google Dani Cook Ballad, Ballat, Ballad, Ballad Health. You'll see all the things. You'll see all the things. Um, but it's about the time. The people will always try to tell you how to do things, and criticize you, but they're not the people actually doing it, right? So this is the quote, and I actually have this on a big banner in my home. But here's the quote. It says, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. That's my favorite quote ever. Ever. Because it reminds me, if you are not in the arena, if you're not on the court, if you're not playing the fucking game, if you're not putting in any effort, you don't count. Your criticism, I'm not interested in it. If you want to do it different, then get your ass on the court and do it. This is a quote by Teddy Roosevelt. I learned this quote from Brene Brown. And I took that quote, wrote it up, designed a background, and literally ordered it's 2 foot by 3 foot. And it's hanging on I have like a wall of words, and it's in the middle. It's my biggest one. But I hang on to that because people will always criticize. Oh, well, you shouldn't. I'll never forget when I was back home and they were like, people might listen to you more if you just didn't curse. And I said, well, listen, if I am telling you how to save your healthcare system and all you can focus on is me saying the word fuck, you are not listening well enough. You are paying attention to the wrong thing. And by the way, go show me fuck in your Bible while you're at it, please. So, it just is what it is. What do you look up for what, Tom? Are you talking about the quote? The quote, you just type in the man in the arena. Yeah. Just type in the man in the arena. And you'll get it. But it's awesome and amazing. Yeah, just type in the man in the arena and you'll get it. But yeah, I think that right, which edition of the Bible, which translation, which whatever. Yeah. It's just interesting to me how people, even I've been criticized for a project for the people, and well, we need to do this, and well, then go do it. Well, then go do it, beloved, because it's okay if we all go. It's okay if we do things differently, right? I'm just not going to criticize the way you're doing it, unless what you're doing is hurting people, and then I am going to criticize. Then I will, but only if what you're doing is causing harm. If it's not, we're going to be okay. So, yeah.
It's same really. I don't criticize people who are already on the ground, even if, say, the impact of what they're doing isn't as impactful as I would imagine, or I think I can do it better. Until I'm actually doing it, there's not really any point in criticizing what they're doing, because unlike you, they're actually doing something and they're actually there on the ground.
That's it.
So get on the ground, do something, mess up, get it right, mess up again, get it right, then you can criticize.
Yeah, 100%.
Make an impact.
But you know what I find is that people who are in the arena, we don't have time to criticize. We don't, those people, good morning, Wasim. You know what I mean? Like when you are so busy doing the work, you don't find the time to criticize people. You just don't, because you got other stuff to do. And so I think that it's just really important that people figure out the way that it works for you. So one of the things that I tell people when it comes to Project for the People is you've got to find out how it works for you. I've got people in my community that are homebound. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give them digital graphics. I'm going to give them online resources because it fits their life and what they can do. I've got other people that are going to knock doors. I've got other people that are going on college campuses and in newspapers and newspapers, in the library, right? So get in where you fit in. Just don't make it an excuse. Oh, well, I'm too busy. Because guess what? You will be too busy, and all of a sudden we will no longer have a democratic constitutional republic. just to be clear. You know, there's very little that's more important than the year that we are in now. And people will be like, oh, well, we said that in 2024. Well, that's true. And since we fucked up 2024, we need to fix it in 2026. Like 2024 was really the most important year at that time, but we didn't get it right. So, yes, baby. You want what? Okay. And in just a little bit, Tutu will be done. Do you remember Tutu's friends that live in Gaza? Remember our friends that are in the tents? Yeah, you remember them? So I'm gonna stay on long enough, and then our friends are gonna get on the panel so we can help them today. And then when we get done helping them, then I can play with you. Is that cool? Because we want to make sure they can eat. Thank you. I love that. High five. All right. Yeah, we have conversations. So like my grandbabies, I don't show them the gory stuff, but I absolutely show them Gaza and what's happening and who's responsible and all the things. Yeah, so Cheryl, it's gonna be later today, and it'll go from today into tomorrow. I wasn't gonna be live today. How old are the grandbabies? So Dominic, my oldest, is he turned 12, so he's becoming a little young man, and then Bella, which that's the one that's the walk and talk and breathe and miracle. She is 8, and then Milamu just turned 5. And you guys on TikTok, I've only been going live on TikTok for a year and a half, not quite 2 years. August will make 2 years. When they met Mila, she was 3.5. So she's, they've seen her kind of grow up and all the things. Yeah, no, we're gonna go, Cheryl. We're gonna go. I just need to finish up. I need to send out the recording and the link to the Google Drive from last night, and then I am gonna take them. You're curious. Go ahead,
I
Fred.
did fill out the form yesterday, but I didn't get like an email response back. So did I fill it in correctly?
You did. And I'm wondering if the reason, so what I may do is do yours differently. I need to, it should be fine, but I'll double check it because I knew who it was when I saw it. But give me a second. I think I still have it pulled up. I do. Because you're the one that said Liverpool, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yep, I got you. Okay, so hold on real quick and I can actually look and tell you what it did or didn't do. Oh, look at that. I was still in. I was so tired yesterday. I was like, it's okay though. Let me look real quick. And I will make sure that you get the email with the link for last night. Here we go. You are there. And what does it say? Okay, so give it a minute to charge, baby. Okay, so I sent it. It says opened. At 2:58 is when I sent it. It says open, but sometimes if you just open your email, it'll say that even if you didn't open it. And it came from me. It says Dani at thisisdani.com.
Wait, let me check my email. You said to my email, right?
Yes, I did. And sometimes you have to check like your spam or your promotions or whatever folders. Yeah,
Give me 1 second to go and check it.
No worries. Yeah, the recording is going to go out when I finish the live today, you guys. Alaikum salam. Hey, Allah, Shak. Let me ask you guys. I know we normally do the Pali panel at 1, but since some of them are already here, are you guys ready to go if we start some of the Pali panel now? Yes, Jennifer, and the link. It'll be the recording and it'll be the link. You say yes? Okay, great. Everybody's good with that? Okay.
So I have to. Okay. I just want to say that I'm gonna leave you soon.
Okay.
but it's actually, yeah, it's actually nice to meet you and to have this conversation here, which is very very informative and incredible conversation. I just wish that you could just lecture on a broad live stream where you have like thousands of people, so that this information could get to the places that it needs to get. But it's okay. You're doing a great job actually, and the Americans who are basically listening to you and then getting educated by your life. That's so phenomenal.
Excellent.
Again, I wish that Pete Hegseth and Lindsey Graham could actually listen to you and learn one or two. So
yeah. So
thank you very much.
So I will tell you all this. So there's a guy who owns a studio in Atlanta, and at the time I lived there. We were crowdfunding to try to do a show. We were going to record 6 episodes, and then see if those and then see if they got picked up by somebody or submit them to like a Prime or whatever, right? And so we raised part of the money, and then my mom got sick. So I went back home and took care of her, and that just got put back on the back burner. But I haven't talked to him in a while to see like where we are. I honestly think all we need is like $7,000. And then because he owns the studio, so we don't have to pay for studio time or any of that stuff. And so that's what we were planning to do over like a 2 or 3 day place. He got the email. So like, you know what I mean? So from your lips to God's ears, maybe that's something that I get to make happen before the end of 2026. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. Yeah, it would be amazing. So we'll see. Maybe.
Thank you once again, Dani, for hosting me and Coffee and the Nigerians that followed me here. They always love me anyway.
I love those.
So really, really appreciate it.
Coffee.
And it's really good to see you again and to hear from you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be having a meeting tonight, right?
We had it last night. So what I'm about to do is I'm gonna email you the recording from last night. So you'll get to see it, okay. And then the link to the drive and everything that we're doing. And then now that you're on the email list, you'll get the email for the next meeting that we're having.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Okay, that's absolutely fine then.
Perfect.
So I do have to go now.
Okay.
But it was a right pleasure speaking to you again, and hopefully I shall see you on live tomorrow again.
Yes, awesome. Appreciate you. Have a good day, babe. Okay, so folks, I'm going ahead and I'm going to bring up a couple of our Pally friends. It's Friday, so we can do our Pally panel. That would be amazing. And okay, so the box at the top and the box at the bottom are are you pretending to be asleep? What is wrong with you?
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Keep halak Allah shak shak.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So, yeah, get Mehdi Hassan to pick it up. Maybe, right? What are you doing? Oh, you just want to snuggle on my lap. Okay, girl. Ugh. All right, girl. Look, Carla said hi, Mila. She's making her eyes really big. You're so silly. She is such a character, and I mean such a character. I don't know. This girl's a mess. So yeah, it would be great, guys, if we could have a goal of 2K. That would be amazing. Minimum, and then I'll rotate some folks out. But I do want to keep talking about things so that we can keep the live going. Okay. Does anyone follow the page Lean from Gaza? I think that went really fast. I don't think that I do. I follow Bassam. but that's it. That's a good one, Kat and Mary Trump. Okay, so hey, it's almost here. She's being silly. But so the conversation, so let me tell you all something. I want to play the rest of the clip. I'm not going to bother to turn the camera around. Get your feet down. But I want to play the rest of the clip. Marco Rubio talks about something. And the reason why this is important is we were talking about this last night, but I don't even have to play the clip. But one of the things that he says in this clip, you guys, is he talks about, I know which, but he talks about Brazil and China working together and about China's currency. And am I teaching the Grands Arabic? They hear me talk at link, but I don't know enough to teach them anything other than, so like I've had them say salam, I've had them say Keith Halleck, and like, so they know Inta Galabi, they know some of those things. What? Tree and key, that is a rhyming word. Good job, sissy. Yeah, so just the introductory things, because over here, shway Arabic. You ready? Okay, thank you. And so anyway, but so he talks about Brazil and China and them using China's currency. It's there, Dom. And yeah, they're here. And that, and like how he literally says in this video, not so loud, Mila. He says in this video, you guys, that 5 years from now, sanctions won't be a thing. He talks about how ineffective they're going to be because of countries now using a currency and laying the groundwork to use a currency other than the dollar. And my whole thing is, you're saying these things 3 years ago, Mark Rubio, when you were a senator, and yet you are literally putting Americans in the position, you know, and you're not doing anything to help that. Remember, you guys, it's the top box and the bottom box, okay? Huh? Yeah, let her pick one. But it's important. So, like, I'm hearing him talk about these things, and I'm like, then why would you all put us in this position? Why would you support us going to Iran? Why would you be making the choices if you already know that we are at risk? You know what I mean? So that's the reality check. Appreciate you guys. Thank you all for helping out our friends. So I want to share something else with you. Would you guys like to know a little bit more? At least it was new information for me. I don't know if it will be new information for you. But one of the things that I have learned, hello, Wasim, I'll bring you up in just a minute. So I don't know if you all know this or not, but it was new for me. So when Israel was first brought to Palestine, they were having trouble getting Eastern European Jews and getting Arab Jews to come to Israel. Did you all know that? So when Israel first got there and they became this national home for Jews, they were having trouble getting the Jews that already existed in Iraq and Egypt and Iran and Palestine to come to Israel. Did anybody know that or not know that? If you didn't know that, put a 1 for me. If you didn't know that, put a 1. You didn't know, Invisible? You didn't know? Okay. You did, Dr. Emmy? Okay. All right. So check this out. So guess what happened? Israel used the Mossad, and they actually attacked the Jewish mosques in Iraq and other places. They attacked the Arab Jews that already existed in the surrounding countries in order to force them to come to Israel. I found that astounding. I found it absolutely astounding. But I found this clip that I want to share with you all. And I'm going to play it so you can see this gentleman. Okay. So give me 1 second. Yeah. Right, LD? It's a lot. So give me a moment. I want you, well, I've got a clip that I want you to hear. Okay. And in a minute, yeah, you guys, you got to keep the comments going and the shares going while we run the panel. Okay. But so watch this. I'm going to show you guys. And so we're going to do, let's do a 2K today so we can rotate some people in and rotate some people out. Does that sound okay, folks? Okay. So I am going to, okay. If we can top off the bottom box. Hey, Hussein, good to see you. I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Witch. And that way we can move things around. Do I have anybody else from the States? Okay, I do. I have 2. Okay, perfect. Okay. So I don't know who all's in here that has the powers to run the panel. I don't know. Okay, perfect. Perfect. And
I shared with A Money, Dani.
Okay, awesome. Love that. Thank you, Carla. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm trying to look real quick. Yeah, because I think that this one's a fake profile. I am not sure. Maybe not. I need to wait until he comes and I can see his face. That's what I need. Okay, so watch this, folks. I'm going to play this for you guys. And I just want you guys to take a listen. You ready? This is going to be very informative.
We arrived in Israel was not diluted.
Hold on.
It was erased.
I want it to start over. Okay, listen.
My identity when we arrived in Israel was not diluted. It was erased. My name is Avi Schlein. I am an Arab Jew. I was born in Baghdad in 1945. When I was 5 years old, my family moved to Israel. I went to school in London from 15 to 18, and I had all my university education in Britain, and I'm an emeritus professor of international relations at the University of Oxford and a fellow of the British Academy. When I was writing my autobiography, I spoke to my mother a lot about our life in Iraq, and the picture she painted is that of a very comfortable life and a very happy life with many Muslim friends. And one day I said to her, "Did we have any Zionist friends?" And she said, "No, Zionism is an Ashkenazi thing. It's nothing to do with us. Zionism was a movement by European Jews for European Jews."
Yes, Carla.
We were Iraqis. We had very deep roots in the country. We spoke Arabic at home. Our social customs were Arab customs. Our food was Arab food. My parents' music was a nice blend of Jewish and Arabic music. The Jews in Iraq didn't stand out. There were many minorities, a long tradition of religious tolerance between the minorities, and we were one minority among many. We were Arab Jews, and we led a very happy and contented life until the rise of Zionism and the establishment of the State of Israel. And as my mother put it to me, when Israel was created, everything was turned upside down. Because of the reluctance to leave our homeland and to go to Israel, the Mossad, through Zionist activists in Baghdad, instigated bombs on Jewish premises, which accelerated the exodus of Jews to Israel. I utterly condemn this action by the state of Israel. We left Iraq as Jews and we arrived in Israel as Iraqis. In Israel, we were never accepted as equal to the Ashkenazi people in Israel. The Jewish community in Iraq as a whole, the experience was like a tree being pulled up by the roots.
So I wanted to share that with you all. And I'm going to put it in, hey, Nor, I'm going to put it in the link tree for everybody. Yeah, he's highly respected at Oxford. I really wanted to share that with people because it is eye-opening when you hear it from a Jewish person born in Iraq. And he tells you that his life in Iraq, he was an Iraqi Jew. He was an Arab Jew, right? And they were peaceful and they had a great life with all of their Muslim friends and everything was fine. And then when the state of Israel comes and they don't feel the need to go to Israel because they're fine, Israel literally has Mossad attack Jewish places in Iraq to force them to come to Israel. And then when they get to Israel, even though they're Jews, because they are Arabs, they're not recognized as Jews, they're recognized as Iraqi Arabs. And so they're not treated the same. So when people talk about Ashkenazi Jews, that's the European Jews. And that is where the state of Israel, right, he is so soft-spoken. And I think it's so important for more Americans to know this information. And even if it conflicts with what you've been told your entire life, even if it is difficult, even if you've been raised in the Bible, to think that Israelis are the chosen people, it is important to know truth. It is important to know what people really experienced, right? If someone writes a book and they translate that book 10,000 times, and in that book, it tells you that Jeffrey Dahmer was a great person and he was God's chosen people. And then you realize what Jeffrey Dahmer actually did to people. Does it matter that the book said it? No, it does not. Especially when the book conflicts with and doesn't align with the realities of what's happening. How come we never talk about India or China? I was talking about China earlier today, Sarah. And I think one of the reasons why we don't talk about India and China, maybe in the context in which you're talking about, because the United States of America isn't funding and providing the weapons for India and China to commit a genocide. So that's why, Sarah. I hope that makes sense, right? Yeah, Iran, yeah, China buys 90% of Iran's oil, and they have for a long time. Yeah. So, and Sarah, let me say this. That's such a weird question to ask. So if I were sitting here and I were discussing breast cancer, would you ask me, why am I not talking about uterine cancer or lung cancer? No, you would not. You would understand that the discussion is about this one thing because that is where our focus is. Right? Of course. That just makes sense. The conversation isn't about where does India get oil. That's not what the conversation is about. We're not having conversations about where different countries get oil from. We are talking about actual funds that are allocated by our government for another country. There has never been, the president of India has never been in the Situation Room in the White House, but Bibi Netanyahu has. He was just there. So don't act like you don't understand the difference, because I know that you do. Now, if there's a specific question that you would like to ask, and be more direct with it, please feel free to do that. Well, no, she's trying to make a distinction too because she doesn't like the fact that I'm talking about Israel. Do you not know where they get it from? Because it's not relevant to my conversation. The topic of my conversation is not where India gets its oil from. So, Sarah, if you want to ask something, then actually ask it. Don't beat around the bush. Ask what you would like to ask. Be direct, for goodness sake. You can have a spot on the panel, Sarah. You seem to have an opinion on everything else. I don't believe that President Xi was in the Situation Room. Yeah, so no, so this is the thing. Right? Share with me. Yeah, I'm not here for the passive aggressive. Just say what you want to say. Ask what you want to ask. Do that. The top 3 boxes are our folks in Palestine. If we can get them to 2K, that would be amazing. Yeah, like say what you want to say. Do I need to play a little Sarah Bareilles for you? I can do that. Let me be very clear about something, people. I do not support any atrocities committed by any government, including my own. However, there is only one country that the President of the United States and the Congress of the United States funds, equips, and supports while they are actively committing a genocide. Well, they've actively committed one in Palestine, and they're working on their second one. Name for me another country in the last 2 years that has worked to commit a genocide in 2 different countries besides Israel. Name for me another one, Sarah, and then maybe I'll talk about them. No, Cuba is not committing a genocide. We are. We're the one who blockaded Cuba. We're responsible for what's happening in Cuba right now. Yeah, that's what I thought. I need to bring up Mohammed. Hey, friend. Alaikum salam. Listen, someone has a fake account with your son's picture. Noor, can you tell him?
ابو محمد بس شويه ما بدها حدا يتكلم عشان قاعده بتحكي فيش كتير مهم. تمام.
Yeah, they have his son's picture that he has right there. They were in here earlier today. Guys, if you see this picture, if it is not this account, he's a fake. He's a fraud. Don't bring him up. The reason I know that this is him is because I follow him and he follows me. But there was an account in here earlier that had his son's picture, and it's not him.
So, Dani, I don't follow this one. Is this a backup account?
Yeah, no. So, yeah, no. This is his main one. Like, he and I are actually friends on this app.
Okay, so I'll follow this one too.
Yeah, this is the one. And he'll turn his camera on. So the picture So the picture that is on here, that's actually a picture of his son. His son was a civil defense worker along with him, and his son was martyred during the genocide in Palestine. And so this isn't the first time somebody's tried to be him. So I followed him so that I would know for sure when I saw the picture. That's why earlier I said, wait a minute, I don't think you're the right one. And so I waited. No worries, injury. No worries, Nuri. No worries. Okay, so Noor, we're gonna do a 2K goal today to try to get to as many people as we can. Okay, it's good to see you. His old smiling face. Love to see him. Okay, so I'm gonna rotate so I can bring some more folks up. Okay. All right, so let me see. I gotta find our the folks that I know are our folks. There's one. Okay. Yeah, so it's crazy that people do this, but people do this, you all. People will make fake accounts and pretend to be them when it's not them. Alaikum salam. So, but I wanted to play that video for you all. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go get some more clips from him, and I'm going to link them in the link tree for people. It is wild, Don One. It really is. Because I think it's really important that we share as much information as we possibly can so that people truly understand what has happened, what is happening, and how this all came to be. Because here's my thing, you guys. Like, just the facts don't support. Like, the facts don't support the claims that Israel makes. You know what I mean? It's just not supported. It's just not accurate. It's not a thing. And I really want people to know that it's just not a thing. When you are there and meant to be there and all the different things, guess what? You don't have to bomb people so that they will you don't have to bomb people so that they will come to your country. And then when you get there, you treat them like a second-class citizen because you run an ethno state. Right? It's crazy to me that there are levels, that it's not just Jewish people that are on top. It's the Ashkenazi Jews. It's the European Jews. They're the first, you know what I mean? And then everybody else is under them. And so I think, what you have to ask yourself is, hella, Raja, do you support people who commit a G-side? Do you do that? Of course not. Right. And that's exactly why they target press, because they don't want the truth out. Alaikum salam. Right? 100%. And so it's really important, folks, that we make sure that we talk about this. Thanks, Jay Nice. That we talk about these things and we tell the people in our lives so that they know what is actually truly happening. Right? Because that is what matters. If I can finish Muhammad's box, he's at 1.98. That would be fantastic. Yeah, it painted a whole new. Appreciate you, Muhammad. Let me just make sure. Okay, appreciate you guys. Thank you. Okay, so can okay, so for those of you all who didn't know, hella, Raja. Hella, Raja.
Salam, Dani. How are you?
Salam. Alhamdulillah. I'm good. I am good. Kois. Am I saying it right? Kois. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Okay, I don't know that one.
Salam, Dani.
Salam, Raja. You're sorry you missed your live today. Yeah, it was a good one. But Don One, it's on Facebook and YouTube, so you can go back and rewatch it there if you want to later. So yeah, I feel this I feel like really like I can't stop talking about these things that truly matter and that are impacting us. And it's all connected together. That's the thing that, you know, how we've been talking about that for a while and we've been saying it's all connected. It absolutely is all connected. And we've got to be doing what we need to do. We've got to, okay. And I know that there are some people that don't agree with me. No worries, Chris. I know that there are some people that don't agree with me about operating within the system that currently exists as a method of fixing things. And it would be different if all I was telling people to do was vote, right? But that's not what I'm telling people. I'm not telling people that just your vote is going to fix things, because we have to do more than just tell people to vote. We have to figure out why people aren't voting. We have to build connection and understanding. We have to give people accurate information that equips them to know truly what's in their best interest, right? We have to do all of those things in order for the vote to truly be a part of the solution. So if I just tell people to vote, but yet I don't address the misinformation, if I don't give them accurate details, if I don't, provide the receipts, if I don't build connection, if I don't, give people the space to change their minds, then all we're left with is people still having this horrible divide and voting from that place. And I don't want us voting from the place of the horrible divide. I want us voting from the place of what's in the best interest of people and humanity and each other, right? Understanding that we are literally all connected. And so we have to be looking at policy as to how it's not going to affect us as an individual, but our community as a whole. And that matters, right? And that's why I said we have to change the administrative state that we currently exist in. And then we have to redesign and reshape what Congress looks like and how that works for the people. Right? Right. Which it's community. And so listen, do I want universal health care? Absolutely. Great. Do I believe that I'm going to get universal health care in 2026? I do not. Why? Because I need to make sure we have a fucking democracy. If I don't make sure that we have a democratic constitutional republic, right, then it doesn't matter if we get health care, because we're fucked either way anyway. Right? So baby steps. Some of y'all want to run marathons, and we are literally being drugged on the race right now. Y'all ever seen a runner on the track and they pull their hamstring or something and they're just like, oh shit, and they can't hardly run? That is us. That is us. In this race of life, that is us. Okay? And some of y'all are like, come on, let's run the marathon. Like, let's go up against Usain Bolt. What? What do you mean? I can't even run. I'm hobbling. And you think I'm going to run against Usain Bolt? Right? Not happening. And so I'm not saying that none of these things are ever possible. Of course they are. Of course they are. But we also have to be strategic, and we have to be realistic, and we have to understand that the systems that they have built and the way that those systems work in this moment, that didn't happen overnight. And this idea that there's going to be this microwave solution and it's going to fix everything is just astounding to me. Even if there was this huge national protest and people just stopped working and corporations promised to do better, and so does Congress, does that change anything long term? I don't think so, because GM had 4 of their plants overtaken, right? And they have a union with a damn 7,000 page contract because they are still trying to do the same shit they were trying to do before. I don't want promises anymore. I don't want good talk. I want action. And I want action that is permanent, that actually lasts. And you only achieve that when you change the system But listen, you have to do two things. You have to change the systems and the hearts and minds of the people that run the systems. The problem is we always think we can do one or the other, and that's not the case. How do I know? Because we are losing our rights, right? Because of the attacks on Black and brown people right now, because of the attacks on the LGBTQIA community right now. So what did the civil rights movement do? It changed a lot of things legally. It changed some hearts and minds, but it didn't change the hearts and the minds of the people running the system, did it? And the people whose hearts and minds it changed didn't go run for office, did they? Does that make sense? Good morning, Georgia. So if I can get the bottom two boxes that are above which to 2K, then I can start to rotate out. That would be fantastic. But am I making sense, you all? I don't want to cast a ballot for someone that took pro-Israel money. But is that an option in 2026? Is that a realistic option in 2026 for me to be able to vote and find a candidate in every field that didn't take any pro-Israel money? I think it will be an option by 2028. I think it will be an option by 2028. I just don't think it's an option today. And so if those are the only options that we have, then we have to work with what we've got while we create something new. I am not telling you to settle. What I am saying is to work with what you have while you build something different. They're not all the same, LDJ, and I'll tell you why. That's just not the case. So when it comes to foreign policy, there's very little difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. That is true when it comes to foreign policy. But it is not true when it comes to domestic policy. It's not true. I have never seen the Democratic Party work to not give people SNAP benefits. I know, Carrie, I got, you know me, I watched a video, it irritated my soul, and so I ended up going live.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, Wadmi. How are you, sis?
Alhamdulillah. Hi, Dani Cam.
But you know what I'm saying? So we need to be doing two things at the same time. One, we need to be operating to make the best of the system that we currently have while we are working to rebuild the system that exists. You know what happened, Kayla? I'm just going to tell you, here's what happened. Real talk. Last night, I was in a different live. And I've been in this live before, and it is supposed to be a like-minded live, a like-minded space. And there were people in that live that literally personally attacked me. I was called performative. It was a lot of different things. And it reminded me why I stopped going in this particular space, because it's not for me. Yeah, it was a lot. And VJ was there. And so when I attempted to express my viewpoint, which is different than theirs, and whatever, like there was a lot that was said to me. There was a lot. And yeah, even George is over here on Facebook going, what? Yeah. So I just simply said, you know what? Thank you for reminding me why I stopped coming into this space. Like I expect to be, so let me just tell you folks, I expect to be insulted or to have my character attacked by MAGA, right? Or whatever. I don't expect that in spaces where we're supposed to have the same desired end goal, right? If we're supposed to desire the same things, and all we disagree about is how to get there, I don't expect for you. Like, I was literally told last night that I'm America first. That's what I was told. I was told last night that I'm America first and that I'm performative. And the reason I was told that is because I do not support. Someone said to me that they voted for Jill Stein in 2024, knowing that Donald Trump was going to win, and that if that were the case, they would do it again, and that they were happy about the things that he's done because it's caused enough pain that people are finally paying attention and people are having necessary conversations. And I was really irritated by that. And I said, here's the thing. I would never. So for me, here's what I know, because this person is Palestinian American. And I said to this person, here's the thing. If I voted for Trump, or if I voted Republican or Democrat, the outcome for Palestine is most likely going to be the same, no matter what I vote for. Right? So,
Salam, Dani.
Salam Abu Malik, right? And so, if that's the case, and the one thing that I know is that voting for the Democrat is going to mean less harm to other people, then I'm going to vote for the Democrat, right? I'm going to vote for the Democrat because, and this is what I said, I would never vote knowing I was going to intentionally cause you harm if I had a different option. And what you're saying to me is that you intentionally voted for someone that you knew was going to cause me and other people harm because your people back home are being harmed. And so anyway, I was called a lot of different things. And I just said, it's not the space for me. I said, it's okay. It's not the space for me, and that's okay. I appreciate the reminder. And I did. And after that, if I'm being transparent, I was drained. I was drained. That was like the last of what I had in my cup. Yes, VJ, I did attempt to gracefully leave. And I literally said, it's all good. I don't hold anything against any of you. I love you. And I still want the best for Palestine and Gaza, right? Okay, baby. And then I left. And so after that, I didn't know that I would have anything left to do alive today. You know what I mean? I just wasn't sure I was going to have any tank in my gas. And so that's when I posted in the chat and I said, you know what? I'm not going to go live tomorrow. But then by this morning, I was a little better. And then I saw Marco Rubio's bullshit and it pissed me off. And, you know, and so then I ended up going live. So yeah. Yeah. And I'm just, you know, yeah, a little tank in my gas, Katrina. A little tank in my gas. And I had 2 of those people reach out to me. I haven't replied to one of them. I did reply because Abu Savaj was there. And so I did reply back to him. Oh, careful. You okay? Here. Can you grab a napkin? Is there some right there on the countertop? Okay. Can you reach it? Girl, are you tall enough to reach the paper towels now? Look how big you are. And I do mean it. Like, it's all good. Like, I'm not angry at anybody, right? Yeah, you got the rest of it. Good job. It just was a lot. Oh. Did I miss your face? I wiped off the stool and didn't realize she'd spilled the water on her face and her arm. She looked at me like, "What are you doing?" Because I just wiped off the stool and I took the paper towel. She said, "Tutu," and took it back. She was like, but here's the thing. Whatever their feelings are, I know, Carla. I know. It's okay. It really is okay. It really is okay. Because I don't do what I do for anybody to like me or approve of me or whatever. Like for me, my willingness to have a pally panel has nothing to do with whether or not there are folks that are rude to me or that personally attack me. It just doesn't. No, I don't, David. And that's why I removed myself from the space and I said, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, Pedro, I'm going to go later. So when I get done with the live today, I'm going to straighten up the house a little bit. I'm going to do one little laundry while I'm doing that, right? A lot of laundry, straighten up the house a bit, pull out the bags, and I'm going to send you guys your email so you have access to the Google Drive and the recording from last night. And then we are going to pile up in the car and drive a few hours to one of our favorite places. We have several. And then, yeah, that's what we're going to do because I need a break and they need a break. And so, and to be frank, I'm literally going to dip into my savings a little bit so that we can have a good time. And because they've been really good and they've been very patient. And so that's what we're going to do. So, yeah, which that's what we're going to do. I will. Alaikum salam, Sammy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. So here's so this is one thing. So those of you guys that are in us, we have to have another book. We have to have another book club meeting. But the 4 agreements is a really, really big part of my life. And the second agreement is don't take anything personal, the good or the bad, right? So if people tell you you're amazing and wonderful and all of that, and you allow that to lift you up very high, then when people tell you you're not and that you suck or that you're performative, then it will drop you down low. But if you just know who you are and you love who you are and you do what you do from your heart, knowing that it is what it is, then whether they love you or they don't, it doesn't matter because you remain the same. It doesn't mean that your feelings don't get hurt at all, right? Because I will be very frank and say, yeah, my feelings were hurt. But I didn't take it personal. All that shit is about you. It is not about me because I love who I am and I love why I do what I do, right? For me, it would have been different if one of the candidates would have been great for the US and great for Gaza. Great. That just wasn't the choice. And so I went with the best choice that was possible to do the least amount of damage. I don't believe that intentionally making people suffer, because the people whose attention you want to get aren't the people that are suffering. The people that are suffering are the working class, the disenfranchised, the economically challenged. Those are the people that are hurting. Corporations aren't hurting. Trump's not hurting. The administration's not hurting. Congress isn't hurting. The people that are hurting are the people that didn't have anything to do with this. Appreciate you, Tom. And so for me, no thanks. I don't want to do that. So anyway, if we can take care of the top 3 boxes to 2K, I think I'm gonna cut out a little bit early and end at like 1 o'clock. Y'all good with that? I've been on for over 3 hours. We okay with that? Girl, I do not, Shantae, but I will get one. I will need one for the drive. I will get a Red Bull for the drive. I will need that. But for right now, I'm gonna wash some clothes, pack us a bag, and head out. Yeah. So I am, Shantae. I am. It's been a lot. The last month has been a lot. Trying to make sure that I had all the graphics done for everybody and to make sure that people had tools and resources. And I feel guilty because I've ordered more fast food for the kids than since the election. They haven't gotten to go outside or do anything fun on their spring break. So I feel bad about that. Like I just feel guilty because they, I just feel like they get put to the side so much, So, yeah, so I'm just tired and just want to do something nice for them. That's it. Do I know what numbers are non-voters and the folks receiving SNAP and Medicare and Medicaid? Yeah, it's actually that's in a big spreadsheet that I have, Chew. And remember when I did all of the data and the numbers? So that's like the next round of graphics. Yep. That'll be in some of the next round of graphics. Yep. Cool. Yeah, it is. Do we have any more coins to fill off these top 3 boxes, guys? Yeah, you're welcome, Chew. If we don't, just let me know and it's okay. Amal, it's been a day. It's been a day. We'll do it. Yeah. Appreciate you guys tapping them off. Appreciate it. Veronica, I will message you and give you my EIN. I will respond to the email. I just haven't. Because you know why? Because that information benefits me and I just pushed it to the back burner while I was doing everything for everybody else. So, but I'll send it to you. So yeah. So I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for taking care of our folks that are in Gaza. I know, Veronica, I appreciate it. So I will talk to you guys later. Give me about an hour or so and then check your emails. Okay. And that you'll have the link for the recording and you will have the link for the Google Drive. Let me say this to the person who said I'm poor or whatever. Let me just share this with you. When you send our folks in Gaza good energy and you don't have the coins, it doesn't matter. I believe that effort, that desire to help them manifest and somebody else just meets that need. So don't ever feel like that. Whether you can gift me or gift them isn't relevant. Just be here and that's enough. All right. So love you all, mean it. I will see you later.